Since the governing Liberals are 3 seats shy of a majority, the budget bill will have to survive a confidence vote to be passed because, if not, it could send Canadians back to the polls early. Federal Justice Minister Sean Fraser has dismissed using the Constitution's notwithstanding clause to overturn a Supreme Court of Canada ruling on child pornography. The High Court ruled last week that the 1-year mandatory minimum jail sentences for accessing or possessing child pornography violates the Charter of Rights. But Fraser says the path forward involves policy choices. He says the Liberal government is eyeing new legislation with harsher penalties for online sexual exploitation of children. And a legendary actor gets the big screen treatment for a milestone birthday.
In honor of Dick Van Dyke's 100th birthday this year, a documentary by Fathom Entertainment called Dick Van Dyke 100th Celebration will appear in theaters nationwide on December 13th and 14th. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
That is your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com.
Tonight, mainly clear and a low down to -5. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. We could see cloud rolling in late in the day and a high of 7. Tomorrow night, spotty rain showers likely and a low of 2. Thursday, rain showers mixing with flurries later in the day and into the evening and a high of 5. Friday, partly sunny and a high of 2. And Saturday, game day, West Final, mostly sunny and a high of -4. Currently in downtown Regina, we have mainly clear sky, cloud in the area, and it is 5 degrees.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Tuesday edition of the Sports Cage. How are you doing? I'm back in the chair. Here until Friday. We got 3 hours for you. I know it's budget day. Should we tackle the budget at all here? I know people love when we talk politics on this show. You hear him laughing over there. I'm going to introduce you to my co-host in a moment. He's back, and he's a crowd favorite. What do we got for you today? Well, interesting eyeball work done over at the rider practice. Who was on the field, who was off the field, who was walking slowly, who was in big braces of sorts. We're going to have all that for you coming up as we get ready for BC. Update on tickets. Over 30,000 sold now for the game. What do we look like if it's not a sellout? That's what I'm curious out there, what you think. I think it will be a sellout. They'll shoehorn as many in as possible. We can't have it look empty. We're going to hear from Keith Willoughby and his computer. I am fascinated by what the computer is going to tell us, the analytics for Riders and Lions, and also for the East. Hamilton, Montreal. That game's intriguing. We're going to give things away today. We got Pat tickets in hour 1 at some point. We're going to give you a cue to call. Caller number 5. It's like a rock station. Right before we play Chilliwack. We also got tickets to the West Final. Saturday kickoff, 5:30. So we'll give those away. And then in hour 3, PumpJacks Cathedral Trivia. You're going to have to call for that. The trivia question, we will announce. Did you fact check that, by the way, Colson? We got to check that. They announced it. I hear they announced it yesterday on the show, or they talked about it yesterday. We're going to talk about it again today. And then when I ask the question, you should know. If you listen for the full 3 hours. I know a lot of people don't. I guess that's them are the breaks, as they say. So that's coming up about 5:30. Glen Suitor's in hour 3. Arash Madani's in hour 2. And we're going to hear from riders such as Tommy Stevens, Coach Mace, Dante Myers as well. All of our guests join us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Western Pizza, perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, all the Greek favorites you love. No need to cook tonight. Grab your Western pizza from your nearest Western Pizza or dine in. We have the text line open already, 936-6262. It's always good to text. You can call as well. Colson, he's over there working magic. We've got a toll-free number, 1-866-767-0620. If you wrote that down, you're quick. But call in, text in, Prairieland Rentals, 600 Albert Street. You get to deal with the owner. Anything you need for that fall or winter job, heaters, power tools, snow moving material, and they deal in Husqvarna snow throwers, which are coming in, and the snow is coming. Sask Lotteries brings you the Tuesday program, main fundraiser for sport, culture, and recreation in Saskatchewan. We're going to get into our sprinkle of the day later for Sports Select. I'll tell you, yesterday I took it on the chin. Right on the chin. Thank you, Dallas Cowboys. What the heck was that? We got more to come. Pat's game tonight. I know we said we're going to give away tickets to that. Keep in mind, it's I Love Regina night. Half-price tickets. Colson, you said there's some even over half price, like 60% off. So if you've ever wanted to take the family, the kids, the wife, the ex, Mr. whatever, to a game, tonight's the night because it's cheap. You get in on the cheap. They're playing the Calgary Hitmen.
Yeah, it said up to 60% off. I couldn't find specific ticket prices, but lower bowl, you were looking at like $17 for the third row from the ice.
If you've wanted to go to a game for a while, go in. They did a really nice video. Mayor Chad Baczynski out there twirling. I don't know if it was him, but at the end it is. They made it look good. So, yeah, I Love Regina night under the orange top this evening. You heard him chuckling earlier, my co-host today, the one and only, former CTV sports director. He's been on the show the last few weeks with me, and we've to rave reviews on the text line and YouTube chat. The Professor, Don Hewitt. How was the week? Are we still allowed to talk Blue Jays?
Just a little bit.
Sprinkle it in?
Because we should be, and we are, completely, Barney, and totally consumed with Saturday's Western Final. I mean, the Blue Jays, a little, but we can touch on them.
Yeah.
But I cannot think of anything, I cannot fathom of anything, I cannot dream of anything other than the Western Final. I mean, it's the, if you think the Labor Day Classic is a big game to go to, it's peanuts compared to this game because, and I'll tell you why, Barney, I think the winner of the Western Final will likely win the Grey Cup. Will likely win the Grey Cup.
Is that what the computer is going to say when we bring on Keith Willoughby?
Well, we'll have to wait for Keith to discuss that. But if you take a look at the BC versus Saskatchewan regular season statistics, which we'll talk about in and out of the show as you give us the time to do that, this game probably on paper would go to overtime. I see this as being an extremely tight, close football game. And although Calgary, who don't forget played the best football in the CFL at the start of the season and came back into that form, although Calgary almost, and you could almost argue could have or should have beaten BC, at the end of the day, the two teams that deserved to be in the Western Final are in fact in the Western Final, and they are both near or top CFL statistics in different categories throughout the categories. So that's why I suggest the winner of this should likely win the Grey Cup. I'll tell you who's hoping Saskatchewan wins, Barney. You know who? The Winnipeg Grey Cup Committee.
Oh!
Let me tell you, if BC goes to the Grey Cup, you can knock off $1 million profit for Winnipeg's Grey Cup week.
Bike lanes will be buzzing in Winnipeg if BC makes it. Soy latte sales going up. But I saw today, so a few things. The Riders released over 30,000 tickets have been sold. So that, looking at Matt Young's grid on Twitter too, around 3,000-ish still available. Now, I've heard from a reliable source we're into the hundreds in that co-op family fun zone. $20 tickets. So if you're thinking about putting down a green one and picking up a ticket, probably want to get on that because we're into the hundreds there.
And it's not that cold out, really, for Saturday.
Well, you talk about the Labor Day game where I could wear short pants and some sort of golf shirt.
Yeah.
It's different, the West Final. But if you dress warm, somewhat... What's the wind? That's always the thing, and that's the thing I was going to look at. And I know I read weather earlier, so for a guy that read the weather, I should be able to. So Saturday, wind-wise, not bad. No. It's we're sitting 12, gusting to 18 out of the north, as per usual. So that's not bad. You'll be sheltered. One will be sheltered. You dress warm. Always take something to break the wind. You walk in with a hoodie, and even if you got another cotton shirt underneath that, you don't have anything to break the wind, you're probably not from here. That's a rookie mistake.
Well, they really designed the new Mosaic Stadium well, didn't they? Because they basically sealed off the northwest wind. Anybody that spent a winter here in Regina knows the northwest wind is what gets you, and they sealed it off very brilliantly, and especially with the stadium being below grade or the field level being below grade. It's so much better for wind than the old Taylor Field Mosaic Stadium.
Do we know the percentage, Colson, of wind from the northwest in Regina throughout the year?
It's got to be 85%.
And you know why I asked that? Because you play golf at the Tor Hill and the Murray. I play at the Royal Regina, so
yes,
you have the predominant wind, the northwest wind, where you always are hitting your shots, and then the odd time you wake up and it's like, wind out of the south. Well, hold the phones here then. So then the train tracks aren't in play as much for me. I don't mind it. But the northwest wind, but it looks Saturday, weather-wise... we're sitting probably game time. I'm going to guess from the forecast, we're going to be about -4. You dress warm for that? Easy peasy.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But what about BC coming in here with that? And I know it's like...
I'm sorry to say, I was hoping for almost colder from an absolute football game perspective, not sitting in the stands like I will be, but I was actually hoping for a little colder. I thought it would advantage Saskatchewan.
For sure.
I don't think these temperatures are going to bother Nathan Rourke or the Lions too much at all. Unfortunately.
When we break down when you break down what's going to happen between these two teams. Now the stat was yesterday, Colson fact checked it, I think give me a thumbs up. The BC Lions have lost their last 10 outdoor playoff games.
That's a good one.
We're considering BC Place as a dome, indoor, even though they can scale the tarps back, a la Cooperator Center, but indoor. So BC historically struggle outdoor, but you think Nathan Rourke, cool as a cucumber? You don't think the elements? You don't think anything's going to affect him?
I think the big key is physicality in this game more so than weather with Nathan Rourke. I think the Roughriders, in going over the stats and seeing how tight they are and really how good both teams are, really, if you look at it. The Roughriders have a slightly better defense. The Lions have a slightly better offense. So what's going to happen? I think the team that plays the most physical will likely win the ball game. So Saskatchewan, in my view, Barney, has to play their most physical game of the season. I'm glad that it's sold out because I'm hoping the fans, are going to be full throat.
Close to sold out.
They could have a factor in the game, literally have a factor. I think the third factor, going way out there, is Mario Alford is due. I think this is the game where we need, Mario Alford to show up, and if he's a factor in this game, the Roughriders will likely win. The Lions, in the regular season were 5-4 on the road. Saskatchewan was 6-3 at home. So, I think the crowd noise could have a factor. I don't think the Lions are going to have a problem necessarily being on the road. The Lions were the top scoring team in the CFL. They had 31.1 points per game. Saskatchewan was fifth with 26.2 points per game. But those stats are a little deceiving because the Riders played a few games without a lot of their starters.
Yeah.
And some people think that BC may have an advantage because they will have less rust than some of the Rough Rider players. I do personally believe that Coach Mace played this as well as possible for the least rust that Saskatchewan could have, considering the length of time that they haven't played a meaningful football game. So I don't know if that's going to be a big factor. I guess we're going to find out. But there's so many stats I could go over. The Lions with the most offensive touchdowns in their regular season with 59. Saskatchewan's third, though, with 45. BC led the CFL in net offense. Saskatchewan was second. That's where I'm going, Barney. This game should be close. BC was third in rushing yards per game. Saskatchewan fourth. BC, surprisingly enough, was number one in average gain per rush. On the defensive side of the ball, advantage Saskatchewan. The Riders gave up the least per game points in the CFL at 22.7. BC was seventh, giving up 27.7. Saskatchewan defense had the second least yards in the season given up, 341.5 yards per game, second only to Montreal. But BC was fourth in that category. They played pretty well in defense at times. Saskatchewan's defense gave up the least first downs in the league. BC gave up the third least first downs in the league. Keep going, and it's a close game.
And that's all regular season, right?
That's the 2025 regular season, right?
There are two games in there, I would say almost 2.5, where the Riders weren't playing gusto.
Exactly. That's right.
I'm not going to say they weren't playing for anything,
yeah,
but you know what I mean. Colson, you have floor's yours.
Yeah, I think it's the last 8 definitely that BC has lost the
outdoor.
Yeah, outdoor. I'm struggling to verify the last 2, just because once you get past 8, you get into 2011 when they won the Grey Cup, which was, I don't know where the 2011 Grey Cup was, and that would have been, it was actually in Vancouver, right? So that would have been indoors. Never mind. It could be the last 8 or last 10, but actually it is. No, yeah, it'd be the last 10.
And when you think about it, that turns to fumbles. If it's colder weather and fumbles, BC perhaps having troubles in Saskatchewan. This is surprising, Barney. Saskatchewan lost the most fumbles in the CFL. Lost the fumbles with 13. BC
fumbled the ball?
They more than that, but they lost it 13 times. They led the league in fumbles. They led the league in fumbles recovered by the opposition. BC was second worst in fumbles given up to the opposition with 11. So both teams, if it gets into the second half, when the game will likely be decided, it gets a little crispier. Both teams have to do a better job of holding onto the football when they're running.
Okay, so injury report came down minutes ago. We had Mario Anderson not participating today.
I don't think I can't see him in the lineup anyway.
Yeah. Shane Ray not participating.
He's
today.
Apparently, Dave Thomas would know more, but apparently Shane Ray's been working with the defensive line doing drills. The big day will be tomorrow with Shane Ray. Will he be out practicing or not? If he's not, he's likely out. But we don't really know about Shane Ray. A neck is not a good injury to have, as we all know in football, but he's a big factor, Barney, because he's good against both the run and he can pass rush.
Roland Milligan Jr. was there. He was limited, it says, but he was there.
And he had a big, apparently, again, we'd have to double check with Dave Thomas. What I've heard from my spies at practice that are usually accurate and also inaccurate, I need it from Dave, but Milligan had a big knee brace on his knee today at practice, which he was fumbling around on. He came on the field, and the players were super happy to have him there for obvious reasons. He's a great football player, but that brace just helping him with this practice, or is it for real? Would he have to play a game with the brace? That we don't know.
Keyshawn Johnson did not participate.
Now, Keyshawn Johnson was the possession receiver for the Roughriders. He was near the top of the league, fourth in the league for total yards catching and running, 1,159 yards. So it's not a good thing to lose Keyshawn Johnson. No. By the way, Keon Hatcher, 1,688 receiving yards to lead the CFL. Justin McInnes was third at 1,256. So those two receivers were ahead of Keyshawn Johnson. But you sort of balance that with Schaefer Baker being back, because Schaefer Baker can do a lot of damage with possession catches, and we haven't had him most of the year. And Dante Myers, of course, back at practice, apparently was flying around. Now, he's their deep threat, while Johnson is their possession guy. Myers, 11 receptions this year at over 30 yards. So he was near the top of the league in sort of long play receptions, and it's huge, absolutely huge that Myers is back playing Saturday.
We are going to hopefully hear from him coming up in a bit with Dave Thomas. Now, the one thing that when I break it down and I look at last weekend's game, and Calgary's right there, and we'll talk to Glen Suitor. Yep. We'll talk to Glen Suitor in hour 3 more about that, and we'll get in on it. But Dedrick Mills had 111 yards rushing against BC. All the chips on the line, playing to prolong your season. Now,
okay,
I think
you're onto something here.
I think I like that. I think so. Again, it's not June or July or even September, but we could, the Riders, give them a steady dose of A.J. Ouellette.
Well,
and as soon as you run the ball, and a lot of our listeners are, somewhat educated football fans and football people, you run the ball and you set up the play action. We've been doing it since in television, football, to Madden, to video games, to if you're coaching or watching your kids, anything like that. You run the ball, you set up play action. Then a guy like Dante Myers, it's like, okay, when do we take the lid off? And Mark Mueller and that mind of his, and knowing that's what I am very curious to watch early. Now, BC just keeps giving us 7-8 yards on first down running the ball. Thanks.
Well, and to your point, BC's defense was 7th on run defense, giving up 105.3 yards rushing per game this past regular season. And of course, Saskatchewan led the league in run defense, giving up 76 yards per game. And, you have to sort of think that A.J. Ouellette, more than James Butler, is sort of built, I believe, for this particular football game. And we go back to, Saskatchewan's offensive line has to have a very good game. I mean, they have to be, dominating over that BC front.
This
is what do we got? The second and third best rushers in the CFL, Barney. A.J. Ouellette, 1,222 yards, and James Butler, third, 1,213 yards. There's a 9-yard difference between them, but I still think that AJ is sort of more built for this, Barney, don't you?
Oh, I think hands down that most people will say, look at him. Like he chops wood and lives in a trailer on basically the land. Like he is, he's not rolling in with, any gold chain kind of, when you see sometimes the NFL guys that are rolling into a Philadelphia game or somewhere cold, well, obviously Green Bay, And I'm like, man, like that, this is different. And November football.
Yeah, it is.
So I know you said you wanted it a little bit colder. I think this temperature is just perfect. And BC will get a taste of it Friday. But Friday is going to be warmer than it's going to come Saturday.
It'll be,
and then it's going to hit you straight in the face on that Saturday morning when you feel the wind a little bit and it starts to get colder. And then we all know when the sun goes here and that, you got the nighttime temps, it's a lot different. So and you look at that BC Calgary game, Butler only rushed for 25 yards on 7 carries.
That's a point. You make a point.
That's 3.6 yards. Now, Calgary, I think, let's give them some credit. Good team. Everything was on, like I said, everything was on the line on Saturday. It wasn't like, well, we got next week, right? So everybody was going full throttle there. Nathan Rourke was the leading rusher for BC in that game with 68 yards.
And, the big thing about Nathan Rourke is the amount of runs that he had over 20 yards was near the top of the league, including running backs. He was near the top of the league in runs of over 20 yards. A big key to this, Barney, is going to be to keep Nathan Rourke in the pocket and hit him. Huge key.
Absolutely. Yep. Like the pressure, the hits, what is he going to take early? And a football game and getting into the mind. And how can you take them out of their comfort zone early, and then now they're adapting to you and changing?
That's right. I mean, Saskatchewan was second in interceptions in the regular season with 24. BC third with 19, but so many of those interceptions Saskatchewan had, being second in the league, was pressure from the front. That's why I'm really hoping Ray can play. If he can't, he can't. But getting into Rourke's face in the pocket causes interceptions.
Oh, any quarterback. Any quarterback. Okay, we'll take a quick break. We got still Keith Willoughby coming up. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to hear some audio from Coach Mace from today. It is a Sports Cage. We are streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. And, of course, we are on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
The road to the 112th Grey Cup rolls through Riderville. Don't miss a moment of this weekend's West Final here on the Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network, 620 CKRM. Saturday, we'll have all the action as your Saskatchewan Roughriders host the BC Lions, where the winner will play for the Grey Cup. We'll break down the matchup with the countdown to kickoff starting at 2:30. Play-by-plays at 5:30. The CFL West Final is brought to you by the Cooperators, Saskatchewan Party Caucus, and Vaterstad. Stream every moment of Rider football at Sportscage.com.
Ready to raise your shower game? Rent a water heater and water softener together from Reliance Heath and turn every shower into a spa-worthy experience. Right now, when you rent a new water heater and water softener together, you'll get $400 back, sent by check after installation. Why settle for meh when you can upgrade your whole home's water and get big cashback savings? Don't miss out on this limited time offer.
Call on Reliance.
Call on Reliance Heath today.
Hey, farmers and ranchers, do you want the next generation to know and care more about agriculture? Donate to the Acres for Education campaign by Agriculture in the Classroom Saskatchewan to help get students out of the classroom to experience agriculture. This year, every dollar donated will be matched up to $25,000 thanks to JGL, so your gift will make twice the difference. Donate at aitc.sk.ca/Acres for Education.
So, since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know.
That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
Canada's Conservatives have put forward a bill that will unlock our nation's true potential by rewarding those who build and invest in Canada. The Canadian Sovereignty Act introduces measures such as the Canada First Reinvestment Tax Cut to eliminate capital gains tax on reinvestments in Canada, ensuring that money stays here and builds our great economy. My name is Warren Steinley, your Conservative Member of Parliament for Regina Luban, and I will always be on Saskatchewan's side.
Paid ad by Warren Steinley.
Don't miss a minute of Sportscage. Podcasts are posted at sportscage.com. 620 CKRM.
Welcome back. Tuesdays for Saskatchewan Lotteries. The professor is with me. Colson's on the other side of the board. Colson, you did some... you were our resident meteorologist. What did you find out about winds in Regina? Not actually what I was expecting.
Resident meteorologist is a bit much, thank you. But
okay, just meteorologist.
So this site Weather Spark I found, it just tracks every single day in history and the weather on that day, and then it can put it all together in averages. So for Regina, going from June until March over the winter, about 40% of the time the wind comes from the west. That could be bit northwest, bit southwest, but predominantly from the west.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then that little stretch between the end of March, all of April, all of May, anybody's guess. It's
really
all over
windy.
the place. Well, you don't know where the wind is coming. It could be no wind, it could be all the wind, but you don't know where it's coming. And then it does look like the second most common wind is actually from the south, kind of year-round. So okay. I'm not 100% sure if this is the heading south or from the south. It's not super clear on that, but
good research. There's our wind update from some made-up website. What was it? Spark? Weather Spark. All right. We got it though. But it sounds about right out of the west those months, and then a bit northwest. Okay. So we talked about giving away tickets to the West Final. Over 30,000 already sold. Don's predicting a sellout by...
right now, this exact second.
Okay.
I don't know.
Let's say by Friday morning. Let's hope there's a sellout. But we have 2 tickets to give away. Colson has 2 tickets to give away. 936-6262. What we want today, and everybody that texts is going to be entered. We've had some really happy people that have won tickets over the last week. Some are traveling a good distance to come in, I've seen. We want your hot take. Now, before we go any further, we need that in 20 words or less. Okay? So try not to send us a novel. If it is, make the first line your hot take. What's your hot take on the West Final? What do you think that we're not talking about something that your gut, that your mind, whatever, stupidity when it comes to me and my hot takes? What do you think's going to happen? Throw it out there. Leave your name and number if you want to win the tickets. If you don't, then you're not into the draw. So your hot take for the West Final, 936-6262, Prairieland Rental text line. Okay, we talked about Trevon Tate. Was back on the practice field today for the Riders. What's that? We don't have Trevon. Dave hasn't said that yet. Okay, well, I guess we don't have. It's Coach Mace. Yes. The Coach Mace clip talking about Trevon Tate's return to practice.
Yeah, man, this guy's worked his tail off all year. To be able to get him out here and practicing, it is one of those things where it's another option for us. As you guys can predict, there's going to be some tough decisions, and that potentially could be one. So, but the fact that he's out here after going down early in the year, awesome.
Tough. He brings it up. Tough decisions.
Well, did we already say this? Could the Riders possibly play 4 American offensive linemen? I mean, Lacombe would have to play safety, which would put Revis back at short side linebacker. You take a look at the field goal situation, too, that could come into play. I mean, BC
This
was number
is
one.
Don's hot take.
Well,
this
BC
could be. You could enter the win tickets.
Yeah. BC is number one in field goal percentage at 95.1% during the regular season. Sean White is an ageless wonder.
Plays half of his games in controlled environment.
Yes. Lothar injured and having some problems. Last in field goal percentage at 73.2%. The American place kicker, Michael Hughes, kicked very well in their last game against BC. But Lothar, he's healthier now, and he was, from what I understand, again, we'll check with Dave at some point, apparently was kicking very well in practice today. So, I mean, at the moment, you'd have to say, oh boy, BC might have an advantage if there's a last-second field goal. Not necessarily with either of them. If, Lothar is healthier, they're going to see how he kicks. I have no idea if they'd consider Hughes in a playoff game place kicking as an American. I have no idea. What do you think, Barney?
I would be shocked. I would be absolutely shocked if they take out Lothar and fill in with an American and a somewhat unknown. Now, Lothar has a bad lumbar. His back is shot. He can't go. At least you have that option right now. But I think I would bet both farms that Brett Lothar is kicking the football. And ratio-wise, I'm sorry, I'm not super dialed on the ratio. I think it's confusing. I love it. But then I'm like, all right. The one thing that I'm wondering is, you said 4 American offensive linemen?
Well, could they possibly?
Could they?
And because Gagnon was apparently just walking around to practice today, who has been playing guard as a Canadian. But, that first practice of the week never means that much from what we've seen with the Roughriders, as you know, Barney. Gagnon could be walking around today and be back on the line tomorrow. We have no idea.
Absolutely.
No idea.
So the other thing, where does Mitch Picton fall into everything this week and this weekend? Do you have to play him?
Great question.
Do we have to play Mitch Picton? Personally, I want to see him out there. And I know everyone's kind of giving him this clutch title. I don't see that as much. I just think he's that playoff guy. My gut tells me you play him. That's just me.
Okay, well, that's a very interesting question you pose. Very interesting, because you got Neal, Schaefer, Baker, and Emelis. Mm-hmm. And we had Neal on the cage last week.
Big cage
Those
guy.
3 Canadian receivers, I'm pretty sure, are going to start. Obviously, Myers is going to start, their long ball hitter, as a receiver. That means who is the 5th starting receiver? And you'd have to think, could it be Bain Jr.? Could it be Picton? There's where the ratio is going to come into play. We're not really sure, because we don't know if Johnson's going to suddenly show up at practice. Apparently, he was at practice a bit last week, but was limping around. If Johnson could play, as we've talked earlier in the show, he's their top possession receiver for the season. If Johnson could play, man, they got one hell of a starting receiver. But Mitch Picton is a clutch guy too. But if they play, let's put it this way, if they play 4 offensive American linemen, then there's going to be 4 Canadian starting receivers.
I'm okay with that.
Likely.
I'm totally fine. Some of the hot takes coming in so far. Roscoe, I'm somewhat nervous about the game. Don't trust the Lions. That's not a hot take, Roscoe. You got better than that. No name texting in. Hot take. Haba Baldonado takes 1 offside penalty and 1 roughing the passer penalty. There's some tongue-in-cheek action there. Riders' run game will determine the outcome. Of the game. Riders get 100 or more on the ground, they win the game. Jared Carenport. Jared, that's what I was talking about. If you heard it earlier, I'm on board. And I think you keep running the ball. If you have the success all day long, you run the ball, throw in some jet sweeps. Freak them out. AJ Olette coming at you in -5-degree weather. Welcome to the prairies, boys.
You wonder where Bertrand Hudon will come into play. He's a good running back.
There's a really good point. Yeah. There's your hot take. Mark that down as Don's hot take. Thomas the Bertrand Hudon, player of the game. I'm putting
Well,
words
if
in
he's
your
the
mouth.
player of the game, the
Putting
Riders.
words in your mouth.
You know, if he's the player of the game, the Riders win.
Craig and Regina, obviously drinking today. Hot take: Riders dress 2 kickers. If Lawther misses, the kid takes over. Craig, you're in to win tickets. You're in to win tickets, Craig. I love it.
Yeah.
I think the West final may come down to Trevor Harris and how he can sustain drives to keep the D fresh instead of chasing Rourke around all day. Dean and Regina. Good one, Dean. Entered to win the tickets.
Oh, can I interject really quickly?
Absolutely.
The one thing about Trevor Harris, there's 2 good quarterbacks in this game. 2 very good quarterbacks, because Rourke was number 1, Barney, in quarterback rating at 112.2. And for the 2025 season, Harris was tied for second with Davis Alexander at 110.7. We, folks, have 2 good quarterbacks playing in this game, which will make it all the more exciting.
No name, no number. The weather will be the difference and will force the running game. Running game wins it. Leave your name and number. Why wouldn't you want to win the tickets? Okay, we'll take a quick break. We're going to come back with Keith Willoughby. What's the computer saying? What's the Commodore 64 got for us in this game and the East? I'm very intrigued about the East. It is the Sportscage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com.
The Rough Rider Foundation's 50-50 is heating up. And the early bird prize for the West Final is a week in sunny Costa Rica, or $9,000 cash. But don't wait. The deadline is 5 p.m. November 6th. You could be cheering in paradise or cheering here with a wallet full of winnings. Don't get hit with regret. Buy your 50-50 tickets early at riders5050.ca and go Riders!
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC. Lottery license LR250011. This fall, the eyes of Canadian university football turn to Regina. The University of Regina, City of Regina, and U Sports proudly host the 60th anniversary of the Vanier Cup, Saturday, November 22nd at Mosaic Stadium. It's the first time Regina welcomes this historic championship, showcasing the best in Canadian university football. Tickets start at just $10 for youth and students, $20 for adults, and kids under 5 are free. That's Saturday, November 22nd, Mosaic Stadium. Get your tickets now at vaniercup.com.
Back to our regular spot, PumpJacks Cathedral.
You know, I thought PumpJacks was a kind of boot polish till last month.
What are you getting?
Kerwin's crispy ribs and a cold pint of local craft. Crispy, meaty, beautiful.
You had me at meaty.
Plus, we got live music on the weekends, big screens. This place is basically my second marriage.
And way cheaper than the first.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, PumpJacks Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
This is Sportscage. Be part of the show. Call 936-6262 or toll free 1-866-767-0620. 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the show. Giving away tickets to the West Final. Some of the hot takes are coming in. Some people, they're so hot they don't want to leave their name and number. Don't be ashamed.
That's hard
it's
to
called
win a
egg
ticket.
on your face.
Is that
it's
hard to
fun.
win a ticket, Barney, if you don't have your name and number?
Man, we're all wrong. We're all wrong at times. Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation 50-50. I'm definitely getting in on this early bird one. A, because it's going to be a huge 50-50 this weekend. And the early bird prize, but you got to buy before Thursday at 5 p.m. It is a trip to Costa Rica, flights from Saskatoon, 7 nights, all inclusive, the 5-star Planet Hollywood. They got a Chino on this resort? Is that legal in Costa Rica? I don't know. Anywho, round trip transfers from the airport to the hotel, or take $9,000 cash. Riders5050.ca.
Very
you
nice.
gotta buy by Thursday at 5 p.m. I've never been to Costa Rica. I want to go. Plane ride it's kind of you got to puddle jump a little bit to get there, don't you? But it says flights from Saskatchewan. I wonder where the transfer is. Anywho, Riders5050.
I've never heard anybody that went there that didn't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know somebody that went there in the rainy season, and they were like, "Whoa!" So wrong time of the year to go. Western Pizza tonight. Why wouldn't a guy or girl hit it up? Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings. Pick it up. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Joining us, here he is again from the University of Saskatchewan, the dean of. I should know this. What is it?
Murray Edwards School of Business.
Oof. Yes.
And you know what? Keith Willoughby, when you talk to him about anything, including football, you know why he's the dean of the business school at the U of S, because he's darn smart.
Keith Willoughby. So were you glued to the budget today?
Yeah.
Are we pulling you away from budget stuff?
Yeah, obviously I'm interested in it, what's going to happen, but let's face it, we get a budget every year. The Riders hosting a West Finals, our version of a solar eclipse. So I'm much more in tune with what's going to happen Saturday evening in Mosaic.
Well, see, I want to know if the feds are bringing back the child activity credit or whatever we used to have back in the day. Where you put your kids in activity and you got a little bit of a kickback or something off your tax, and then they got rid of that, and then they used to just, I don't know. It's all is not lost, like you said, because we have a game here on Saturday. The computer. Does the computer have a name?
Right now, I think its name is Painful, or it's breaking my heart because it has no idea what to think right now. It actually believes that the BC Lions are the best team of the 4 remaining in the Canadian Football League. That's why it's making them, I'd say, the favorite to win the Grey Cup, about a 37% probability. The Riders are at 30%, but the anomaly here is that the computer is picking the Riders to win the West Final. 51% for the Riders, 49% for the Lions. But then once you get into the Grey Cup, which is presumably on a neutral field, it's giving the Lions a clear advantage. So to me, this game is a toss-up on Saturday, but then the computer really likes BC. Should they emerge victorious, it likes them for winning the Grey Cup on the 16th.
That's interesting.
That's
interesting.
Computers drinking wine or whiskey. What is it taking? So it's taking into consideration all the games played up until this weekend, which obviously the Riders didn't play last week. And I guess it's hard because the Riders kind of had that 2 games of who cares ball.
Well, exactly, Barney. And in fact, it's looked at all. I guess we've had now 83 games this season, 81 regular season games. We've had the 2 playoff games. Just looking at the previous 83 games, it puts more weight on the recent past, which really kills the Riders. To me, the Riders have not played a meaningful game in 2 months. When they won the Banjo Bowl, to me, it almost felt after that, not that the Riders were on cruise control, but they got spanked by the Als at home. They had a really... to me, an uninspiring game against Edmonton where they lost in Commonwealth. Yes, they beat Ottawa. Yes, they beat Toronto. But then they had close losses to Winnipeg and BC. The computer, though, does not know that the Riders were basically playing second and third stringers predominantly in essence, from the beginning of October onwards. So to me, that's why I look at the computer model with a bit of a grain of salt. Again, it sees one aspect of the game but doesn't know the entire picture.
I was going to say, Keith, is the next level for your analytics factoring in injuries? I know you go to lots of conferences around the United States. You're an expert in analytics. That's why you're on this show. We love when you're on the show. But how far are you away from having injuries? Betting sites clearly have figured that out with analytics. How far do you think you're away from that?
Yeah, good point, Professor. It's something we would like to include. And in fact, the first version I ever did for the computer model was in 2014, which was the year the Riders began 8-2, and then Darien gets blindsided in the Banjo Bowl, and the Riders went 2-6 after that. In the subsequent years, then, what I began to do was put more weight on the recent games, because the first version of the model, every game was weighted equally, but that's not the case when you get injuries. The challenge I face is how do you determine what's the impact of a losing, again, Darien Durant in 2014? What's the impact of resting your players? To me, it's entirely subjective, which, again, I've not yet figured out a way to do that would make it fair for all teams.
What is it saying about the East?
Hamilton all the way. Hamilton 63%. Again, which I think to me is a stretch. I was saying to friends that to me the winner of the East semifinal was going to the Grey Cup, because I don't believe in the Ticats. I know Bo has had a good season, but is Bo going to be the Calgary Bo or the Hamilton Bo? and sometimes whatever bowl you get, you're gonna, to me, get into an odd situation for the Ticats. I don't see the Ticats winning on Saturday against Montreal. To me, it's a Montreal path to the Grey Cup, and Davis Alexander, who never loses games at all, to me will go to his Grey Cup.
But I'm still, Bo's been here. This is old hat for Bo. At some point, I feel the pressure has to get a little bit to Alexander. And can the Tiger Cats keep it close enough to pounce? So the computer's saying Tiger Cats all the way?
63%, so clearly going all in on the Ticats.
Wow.
The Lions and the Riders, to me, is a pick-em game according to the computer. Even though the Riders have home field advantage, it shows how much the computer really likes the Lions with the dominance that they've had over the past 3 to 4 games.
So, Keith, according to the computer right now, is not the computer saying the winner, we said this earlier in the show, is the computer not saying that the winner of the West Final will win the Grey Cup?
No.
Yeah. Right now it's BC 37%, the Riders 30%.
Right.
So it's giving a clear advantage to the Western teams. Again, to me, which makes sense, even though the computer does not know where the game is being played on the 16th of November. Yes, being played in Winnipeg, to me, to have more of a Western fans there cheering on their team. So, again, that's where I agree with the computer. To me, the team who wins Saturday evening at Mosaic, to me, is going to host the Grey Cup 8 days later in Winnipeg.
Jeez. I'm confused.
It's very interesting. What I find interesting is the computer has BC as the best team on a neutral field. But that's interesting. The computer could come up with that.
Yeah, clearly the best team because, again, throughout the entire regular season, it always factors in home field advantage. But the Lions have been on a heater lately. They beat the Riders by 6 in Mosaic in Game 81 of the regular season. Again, I know it was against the depleted Rider roster. I know there was an audaciously horrible refereeing call which took a touchdown off the board from the Riders when Tavon Campbell runs the entire length of the field with the ball before the phantom whistle was heard. You look at all these things. That's where the computer tries to be objective. But to me, that's where some of the objectivity suffers because if you look at it emotionally, to me, let's face it, the Riders have played in 3 West Finals in Regina since George Lucas began the Star Wars movie franchise in 1977. So 2009, the Riders beat Calgary. 2019, Cody's last pass doinks off the crossbar. And in 2025, we've got the game right here. So to me, home field advantage means a lot for the Riders, and that's why I think as a Rider fan, I've got them winning the game. I cannot bear within the same week to have the Blue Jays basically crush my heart and have now the Riders basically lose Allen 1970, Allen 2009 Grey Cup. Again, I don't want another reoccurrence of those bad dreams.
No kidding.
All right, Keith, a lot to digest here. This is fascinating stuff. I wonder if you can punch into your computer at some point in the next little bit the probability of a ball getting stuck under the left field fence at Roger. I would like to know what the computer says about that, but we're out of time. We might have to catch up next week, hopefully, fingers crossed, before the Grey Cup.
You bet.
And run some stuff there. Always appreciate your time, especially on budget day.
Go Riders. Thanks, Barney. Thanks, Professor.
Right on. Keith Willoughby from the Edwards School of Business joining us here on the Sports Cage. I don't know. Computer kind of seems a little bipolar.
Yeah, it is bipolar when you think of BC, the favorite of the Grey Cup, and not the favorite of the Western Final. But it's very interesting. I love analytics and studying them in any form that I can read about them. It's very interesting.
I'm married to an analytic freak, so it's like everything I do is on the data shows.
You're an analytics yourself then?
No.
At home?
No. Yeah. We'll be back. It's the Sports Cage on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
The road to the 112th Grey Cup rolls through Riderville. Don't miss a moment of this weekend's West Final here on the Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network, 620 CKRM. Saturday, we'll have all the action as your Saskatchewan Roughriders host the BC Lions, where the winner will play for the Grey Cup. We'll break down the matchup with the countdown to kickoff starting at 2:30. Play-by-plays at 5:30. The CFL West Final is brought to you by your Saskatchewan AGCO dealers, Quality Tire, and SaskTel. Stream every moment of Rider football at Sportscage.com.
The Rough Rider Foundation's 50-50 is heating up. And the early bird prize for the West Final is a week in sunny Costa Rica, or $9,000 cash. But don't wait. The deadline is 5 p.m. November 6th. You could be cheering in paradise, or cheering here with a wallet full of winnings. Don't get hit with regret. Buy your 50-50 tickets early at riders5050.ca and go Riders!
Riders 50/50 is presented by ISC. Lottery license LR250011.
It's home reno season, and with that Regina wind chill, you're better off renovating than relocating. Stay productive with a little help from Freeze Tallman. From drywall and molding to installation and interior doors, they've got everything you need to renovate your space. Freeze Tallman's delivery team can also deliver right to your home if you live in Regina, Fort Capel, or anywhere in southern Saskatchewan. Freeze Tallman's got you covered this reno season. Visit freezetallman.com or see them in Regina or Fort Capel. Freeze Tallman. Let's get you building.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Sask Lotteries has over 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Bundle and save with Reliance Heath. Rent a new water heater and softener together and get $400 cash back. Call on Reliance Heath today.
Riders back on the practice field. Roland Milligan was out there today participating limited. Keyshawn Johnson was not. We're going to hear more about that coming up in moments. Western Hockey League tonight. I Love Regina game. Tickets under half price. Pats are hosting the Calgary Hitmen, 7 p.m. It is on 620 CKRM, starting at 6:30 with the pregame show. U18 Women's National Championship going on in Newfoundland, Saskatchewan. They're 0-2, and they're up against Ontario right now. Ontario leads 7-0. U17 Men's World Championship in Nova Scotia. Regina's Chase Serkan, Estevan's Boston Tate, and Nipawin's Blake Chorney. Canada Red squads up against the U.S. tonight. Schultz, Pugh, and Canada White lost to Chechnya yesterday. They're 1-1. SJHL tonight. Yorkton in Flin Flon. Battleford's welcome Nipawin. Canadian mixed curling in Assiniboia. 3-0 entering today. Canada loses their first one 7-2 to Ontario this morning, but they bounce back with a 7-2 win over Northern Ontario today. Canadian teams in the NHL tonight. Habs hosting Philly. Edmonton's in Dallas. Winnipeg travels to Los Angeles. Sports Ticker is for the Bundle and Save event at Reliance Heath. Rent a new water heater and softener together. Get $400 in cash back. Call on Reliance Heath today. Hour 2 is coming up. Professors sticking around. We're going to have Arash Madani join us. It's the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
We are 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station. Streaming online at 620CKRM.com.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Corey Atkinson from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM news. The Liberal government's federal budget, tabled less than an hour ago, adds almost $90 billion in net new spending over 5 years. It also projects a deficit of $78 billion for this fiscal year, more than double estimates for last year. Finance Minister Francois-Philippe Champagne defended that figure at a press conference in Ottawa.
Well, it's well within the range that people had expected, and people also understand that 75% of what we recorded this year you would have seen that at the very beginning, was to, defend our sovereignty.
Canada has promised to spend the equivalent of 2% of its GDP on defence this year, with that number increasing to 5% by 2035. Champagne says the government has had to respond to industries that were disproportionately affected by U.S. tariffs, including softwood lumber and canola. Police in Regina are investigating after 3 reports of thin metal were found in Halloween candy across the city. The metal, similar to sewing needles, was found in coffee crisps and an Aero bar. Acting Police Chief Laura Lee Davies says parents should inspect all candy, but adds there's no cause for major concern.
But we certainly need to do some more digging into it, and so we're urging folks, if they do happen to come across something, if they can keep all of the evidence, including the candy bar, the wrapper, and whatever the suspicious material might be, so that we can do an analysis on it.
Davies says the reports came from the Greens on Gardner, Fairways West, and Glen Elm. 42-year-old Chris Fallman of Regina appeared briefly in Regina Provincial Court today. He's charged with manslaughter in the September shooting death of 44-year-old Tanya Myers near Weyburn. Fallman remains in custody and will return to court November 6th for a bail hearing. RCMP say the bullet struck 2 vehicles on Highway 39, killing Myers, who was a passenger. They also say Fallman and Myers were not known to each other before the incident. A 40-year-old man is facing charges after a pedestrian was hit by a vehicle in Regina Monday night. Police say they were first called to Cameron Street about an impaired driver before another report came in of a collision near Athol Street and 8th Avenue. The victim had minor injuries. Officers later stopped the suspect vehicle near Elphinstone Street and 13th Avenue and arrested the man, who now faces 3 charges, including impaired driving and failing to stop after an accident. A new report from the Salvation Army suggests most Canadians believe U.S. tariffs are hitting them in their pocketbooks. Communications manager Glen Van Gulik says the majority of the more than 1,500 Canadians surveyed online in September agreed tariffs were driving up the cost of everyday goods.
Over 85% are saying groceries and essential items are certainly becoming more expensive, something that I think we all know to be true. But certainly this hits low-income families the hardest.
The survey also found that healthcare, unemployment, and job insecurity were among the biggest worries among Canadians. That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Weather brought to you by Line X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks. 1865 McCarra Street. Tonight, mainly clear and a low down to -5. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. We could see cloud rolling in late in the day and a high of 7. Tomorrow night, spotty rain showers likely and a low of 2. Thursday, rain showers mixing with flurries later in the day and into the evening and a high of 5. Friday, partly sunny and a high of 2. And Saturday, game day, West Final, mostly sunny and a high of -4. Currently in downtown Regina, we have mainly clear sky, cloud in the area, and it is 5 degrees.
For 40 years, the team from Line X Regina has been protecting vehicles across Saskatchewan, and we're changing with the times. 3 generations of our family have protected your vehicles. Our business has evolved, and we're not stopping now. The next generation is here. Same family, same commitment, ready for the next generation of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards in all kinds of colors. Line X Regina, 1865 McCarra Street, the next generation of protective coatings.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back. The Deuce. This 3-hour program today for Sask Lotteries, main fundraiser for sport, culture, and recreation in Saskatchewan. The Professor Don Hewitt is with me for another hour. Colson's riding shotgun, taking all of your texts on the Prairieland Rentals text line. What's your hot take for the game this weekend? That was the question. You message in, and now people are starting to bring back, yeah, I forgot my name and number. We need your name and number because you're entered to win 2 tickets to the West Final. You talked about football, Don, and it's obviously the West Final. It's just a busy time for football in general in the province. Mm-hmm. And this week, There's going to be a few moments to breathe with hockey talk this week. But some of the guests I have coming up for the rest of the week here, Sean Campbell, you're going to have to leave me a couple of questions on the Habs. Play-by-play voice of the Montreal Alouettes tomorrow. We got Eric Francis. We got the high school football report, 6-a-side, 9-a-side, breaking down everything. Going to be joined hopefully by Dylan Hart, head coach of Johnson, who's in the provincial final 5A.
Good for Johnson.
Yeah.
Good for Johnson.
Tom Sargent, my former coach of the Saskatoon Hilltops tomorrow. That'll be fun.
How do you like Tom Sargent?
Love Sarge. Hated him in grade 9 and 10. But it was one of those things. I was smart enough at that age to know that I was a little shite, and I knew that I would love him, and he would love me at the end. Anyway, Ken Reed from Sportsnet tomorrow as well. So, like I said, we're breaking Eric Francis.
He looked pretty. What was the word? I saw Ken right after the Jays Game 7 on the tube, and he looked sort of ashen. Looked a little on the white side.
Thursday, we have we're going to be talking with Glen and Arash, but then it's we're hoping for university football. Mason Nias from Regina, coach of the University of Saskatchewan Huskies.
A great football brain.
Oh, the job that they
the Rams
did.
will be up against a great football brain.
Friday, Farhan Scott Schultz. We're going to talk to the Miller coach as they get set to play the provincial final against Saskatoon Holy Cross and Luke Mulliner. So week is jam-packed.
What a football factory over the last few years Miller has become.
I know, but Riffle, watch, don't sleep on Riffle next year. I know those NOD kids, they got some grade 10s and 11s that are players. But yeah, Miller's good. So yeah, it was an interesting game at Mosaic Stadium. Okay, Coach Mace today, he talked about, is there a different vibe this week with the Riders?
Not to say that, we don't work. Obviously, we do that. But, I think everybody's just a hair more maybe locked in. The work ethic, the effort, everybody, sprinting to the ball and stuff like that, that's there. So, it's good. You want to see that anyways all the time. But, yeah, man, it's just, I think everybody's just maybe a hair more detailed.
There'd be some nerves there, and they'll never admit it. Some of the guys, right? You've covered it for a long time, Don. You can see it. You can sense it at times.
Totally you can. You can feel it.
They're the team, they're expected this year to be there down the road in the Grey Cup playing. BC's coming in. They're a good football team. And in this league, as we saw this year, you never know what happens. But they're expected to be there. So there is going to be some pressure. There's always the players that play loosey-goosey, no pressure, for sure. But they're lying. You better feel some pressure come Saturday morning, I think.
Well, and I think Coach Mace, who's going to win the Coach of the Year this year,
hands
for
down.
Sure. Although I don't even think he cares about that right now. He cares about Saturday.
Absolutely.
And I think he's been a master at building this team up both physically and psychologically for this game on Saturday. And I think the Riders, in many respects, I sort of feel they're going to welcome the pressure, because you can't win a championship without it.
Pressure
Without
is
pressure,
privilege.
there'll be pressure the Grey Cup game too if they get there. And I think they're going to welcome it. And when you welcome that pressure and say, bring it on, good things happen.
Okay. Let's go to Coach Mace. Obviously, they watched the game. Calgary versus BC.
I would think so.
The coaches, the players, everyone would have been invested in that. Mace talks about what his takeaways.
Man, tough game, two tough teams. Everything that you identified about each team kind of showed its face. Honestly, either team could have won it, and there's a handful of plays I'm sure each team, even BC, would want back. But that's playoff football. Everything's magnified. Falling in love with the details, detail-oriented games when it's in the playoff, because everybody's good. You know what I mean? So it's going to come down to minute things that you have to execute. And ultimately, BC ended up making one more play, but no shade on Calgary. They had an outstanding year, and they fought their tails off. But yeah, man, I thought it was just good for the team to come together and break bread and watch that.
Maybe Coach Mace made some of his famous chicken.
Yeah, or else he brought in Western pizza.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
favorite, Barney.
There's a smart. Pressure is a privilege. I know this guy will know who said that famous quote. Athlete. I just looked it up. I was way off. Let's go talk to Arash.
It's time to go coast to coast with Arash Madani for Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
It took 11 years of me coming on this show, Mr. Hewitt, for us to finally get a tennis reference on the Sportscage. Yes. I like it. Billie Jean King.
Billie Jean King. Pressure is a privilege. I was way off.
That is the greatest things. I think you'll agree, Arash and Barney. The greatest things are simple. Things. And that's one of them, like the Apple logo, a bite out of an apple. That's brilliant. But that comment by Billie Jean King, so simple and yet so profoundly true.
Hitting a fairway.
Now, why didn't somebody say this to the Blue Jays before Game 7? Said the Billie Jean King.
I thought for some reason I was thinking it was a college coach. But yeah, it's Billie Jean King. And then obviously another favorite is you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Famous quote from Michael Scott from The Office.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And Michael Jordan, he said that too, or something like that.
Yeah, Wayne Gretzky.
Michael Jordan also said, "Pass the Hennessy in a cigar," but that's a different
day. Game 7. Let's start it. We got to talk Blue Jays. When we have you on, we have to talk about it. We were all watching. A lot of us were on the wagon, off the wagon. I think Game 6 and that ball being stuck in the wall. I was like, okay, what is this a foreshadow? What kind of weirdness is going on? But then Game 7 comes, Arash, and how do you unwrap it? What a game.
What a game. I mean, there's so many layers and so many moments of Game 7. I mean, in the 9th inning, the Blue Jays had a 91.7% probability of winning the game. 91.7. The guy who hits the home run off Jeff Hoffman in the 9th inning had not hit Miggy Rojas had not hit a home run since early September. Miggy Rojas had not had a base hit in a month when Dave Roberts decided in Game 6 to start him. And Roberts' point was, this is a vet. This is a glue guy. If we're going down with him. And it was Rojas, guys, remember at the end of Game 6, when Kike Hernandez made the catch, Rojas had the presence of mind to bolt over to second base.
That's right.
Double off Barger. And in the process, this is so many people got caught up in just Blue Jays. In the immediate aftermath of that play, guys, Miggy Rojas dislocated a rib. The Dodgers weren't sure if Miggy Rojas was going to play Game 7, and what does he do? Not only does he get shot up to play, he hits the home run off that ridiculous hanger of a pitch from Hoffman, and then guns down Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at home plate in the 9th inning to preserve a game. This is a guy with a dislocated rib, playing shallow, had to twist again, and guns down IKF.
Isn't that something? You know, the manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers, Dave Roberts, the one take I had coming out of the World Series was, man, is this guy something special as a manager? He just seems to have his finger on the pulse of that team like I've almost never seen before, Arash.
So, Don, I'll tell you this. I was lucky enough to get to Game 7. So
good, you deserve to be there.
I appreciate it. I was behind the left field foul pole. So I am staring straight ahead at the visitors' dugout down the first base line. So if you remember in the 9th inning, right before that Rojas play, Alejandro Kirk got hit by a pitch to load the bases.
Yeah.
Then they go to replay review. Did it hit the knob of the bat? Did it hit his hand, etc.? So while everybody in the stadium's watching the replay review, I'm like, what is happening here? Because Dave Roberts has come out of the dugout and he's having a long chat with the home plate umpire. And it's continuing and it's continuing and it's continuing during the replay review. Finally, the umpire pulls out his lineup card. And Roberts literally points down at the lineup card to the umpire. The umpire takes a note. Roberts turns around, signals to the dugout. The bench coach runs across the dugout to a dude at the end of the dugout in a hoodie. And that's when Pages jumps up, takes the hoodie off, runs out to center field. Tommy Edman comes out on a defensive substitution. And after Rojas guns down IKF, it's Pages in center field making one of the most iconic catches in World Series history. Covered 121 feet.
Jeez.
Knocks over Kike Hernandez. And makes the catch. Kike stood on the, lay down on the warning track after because he said, I thought we lost the game. I thought the game was over.
Is that right? Wow.
And
yeah, another brilliant move by Dave Roberts.
Right.
He just was calling everything right.
Well, and speaking of the pressure, yeah, they have spent more money than anybody in baseball.
Except the Mets.
But
I think.
But there's the pressure that comes with that too. You can't be the Mets. You can't be a dud. If they're spending that much money, you're expected to perform. Jeff Hoffman, I remember Arash a few months ago and the struggles he was going in, and you would talk and I would sit there and nod because I just didn't know enough. And after watching it and then giving up that home run, it somewhat fitting in a sick way.
The issue in that situation, you have a full count pitch. Colson, why don't we the home run again from Rojas if we want to roll that? It's a full count pitch.
Painful to watch again.
In that scenario, if you're a closer, if you're a ninth inning guy, you're brought in there on a 2-strike pitch, your best against his best. What is this slider nonsense? What is this hangy thing over the heart of the plate for your 9-hole hitter? You come at him with a fastball. You come at him with your best pitch. Jeff Hoffman didn't. It felt like this was a ticking time bomb the entire way of the season. Awful pitch. But you know what else, Barney? Barney and Don? It was a pitcher who was scared. And he blew it. And the Jays choked.
Well, a lot of people I know in street clothes might have hit that ball out of the yard. But you know what's really interesting?
I want to see the guy in jeans smoke that over the wall.
I think they just announced
What about a guy with a hot pink hoodie? Would he hit it over the wall or what?
He may be.
That's right. Big pink guy.
Fox Sports announced, I think it was this morning or last night, that they had the best ratings of a World Series since 2017. They were ecstatic because the television ratings for the World Series in the U.S. have been slowly in decline. They had a comeback with the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, and in many respects, the Blue Jays really helped Major League Baseball in the U.S., as it turned out, because more people were climbing aboard this series as it went on.
Yeah, and I also think, Don, it was a couple of things, too. One is Ohtani. The Ohtani effect is real. When you're hearing about a guy getting on base 9 times, when you're hearing about a guy who's they just have to walk him.
Yeah.
And I do think Vladimir Guerrero is now a star. He is a star, is a name that's going to be recognizable, second generation, all those kinds of things. And, Mookie Betts was in Boston, L.A. Freddie Freeman was in Atlanta, now in L.A. They've had some well-traveled guys. The irony of it all is that all that money they spent that Barney talked about and all these well-traveled guys that they gave all the money to the Dodgers batted .203 in the World Series. They were outscored by 8 runs, 6 runs, something like that in the World Series, and won it.
Clutch when it counted. Now, the Blue Jays for next year, can we say goodbye to the World Series? Not maybe necessarily. If they don't get Bo Bichette back, is he willing to go to second base? Do you think he could end up in Toronto? He says he wants to, but there's a lot of teams that want him. What's your take on Bo Bichette?
Well, what else is he going to say? I don't want to come back? Right after losing Game 7 of the World Series in front of all his teammates. Vlad had a great line. He said, now it's time for Bo to go out and get paid. And Bo Bichette has earned the right to get to free agency. He has earned the right to get to the open market to discover what's out there. Something tells me the Los Angeles Dodgers would love to have Bo Bichette. The New York Mets would love to have Bo Bichette. The Boston Red Sox would love to have Bo Bichette. On and on we can go. This is now not a front office decision anymore. This is not about the team president. This is not about the general manager. This is about what is ownership willing to do to get there, and is Bo interested in coming back at that number? And that's what this now comes down to.
Yeah,
nothing else.
When they showed the picture of Guerrero and Bichette as they came up in the system together, and how young they were in that one picture, like it's again, as a guy who has not been following it that close, it's like that is such a cool story. Do you want to take people through? Do you want to take people through the text message? How do you?
I'd love to.
How do you paint this picture?
Yeah, I'd love
let's
to.
do it. Get the egg on the face thing ready.
All right. So Barney and I are texting Game 7. Bichette's first at bat, he gets on. He's rounding second base, Don. And you can tell he's laboring, right? The leg's bad, the knee's bad. And Barney texts me.
He should be on third, and then he should have scored. Anyway.
Barney texts me and he says, this Bichette is a liability. Next AB, Don, kaplow. 442 feet for a 3-run shot to the moon. And I wrote back to Barney, liability.
I wish people could see this graphic that are only listening on radio.
Yeah, no, the boys put it up. The boys put it up all the time when I'm wrong. But I was like, he can't run. Like come on, we could have scored there. You could be in third, and then the next, and I couldn't even get to my phone because I think I was in the middle of cooking or going to the barbecue or something, and I just saw it, and I'm like, well, when I get back to my phone, I know who's going to be texting me.
On cue.
Yeah.
Ding.
Marty might have literally had egg on his face. He was cooking at the time.
What? Ernie Clement, like, what a story that guy is, and he's in that spot, and you know everything, and he's a hockey guy. They say, like, what a spot for him to be in.
Rochester, New York is where he's from. He's under team control until 2029. So
thank goodness.
Yeah. Now, and I want to, here's the thing that's important to remember. It felt like all the stars were kind of aligning.
Yeah.
Like everybody had a career year. Clement emerges. Nathan Lucas, who nearly retired. Addison Barger, kind of out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
George Springer, who had a couple of terrible years, has this renaissance, et cetera, et cetera. Their starting pitching remained relatively healthy. They got to now start, guys, all over again. February 15th, pitchers and catchers report for 7 weeks of spring, and then 162 games. I know your boy Trey is Savage. You already have your Savage jersey on the way, Barney. But and he was great, and he was amazing, and a wonderful story, and he could end up becoming a great big leaguer. But it's one thing to do it in a 6-week, 7-week span. It's another thing to have to do it for 7 months, every 5 days, injuries, adversity, teams figuring you out, et cetera, et cetera. Win when you can, because you never know, and it's a long road back.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you got Scherzer says he wants to be back. Bassett, I guess, could go anywhere. You got Bieber. I think he opted out. Did he not?
Well, he's a free agent.
I think he's a free agent. So, I mean, there's 3 guys right there. Are any of them possibly going to be back in Toronto? Because, I mean, Bieber was great pitching on the road in the playoffs, but not so much at home.
Yeah, and I mean, Shane Bieber's coming off Tommy John. He hadn't pitched in a year, et cetera, et cetera. I think Shane Bieber's gone. I think Shane Bieber's going to get a lot of money somewhere. But it's interesting, like you mentioned, Don Bassett's up. Gosman's up at the end of next year.
Right.
Jose Barrios, I get the sense he's pitched his last game as a Blue Jay. He was nowhere to be seen during all of it. So, it's one of those, we'll see. Like, the dust had they hadn't even cleaned the confetti up, and the free agency list came out from the Major League Baseball Players Association.
Mm-hmm.
It's the business side of the game now.
You talk about just the absolute grind, and then you got to do it all over again in February. It's very similar to Connor McDavid the last 2 years and getting there, especially 2 years ago, and that grind back.
Good point.
And then it's like, well, got to start skating again in a few weeks. Like a professional athlete would be unbelievable. It would be fantastic. But the mental grind and what these guys are going to have to go through and bounce back, and for sure, money makes it easier, being able to bounce back when you're driving around in a Ferrari. But, man, and like you said, like it is like February comes like that. Last thing on the Jays, it was crazy. I was part of it, so I can speak to it, this momentum and everybody. And I wouldn't say... I'm not going to the united a nation, and no, it didn't. No, we're never. I don't think we're ever going to be united again as one. Maybe the Olympics will kind of bring us close together again. But people in the East and the West and whatever. But the momentum that the Blue Jays brand had, and everything was pretty impressive over the last month when you figure it out, and then it's just boom, done.
Like it never happened, almost. It's crazy how it goes.
That's true.
And that's the thing about sports. It grows, it grows, it grows, it grows. It's like this freight train that going, and like more people are hopping on, whatever. And then the most abrupt end. Like broken bat, ground ball from Kirk. Mookie Betts fields it, touches second base, fires it over to first. I left that stadium. I was intrigued, guys. What's it going to be like out there on Front Street? What's the vibe outside the stadium? People were depressed. It was quiet. There were tears. It was literally the people kicking the rock down the street. Sunday was very quiet in the city. Yeah. Monday, it was water cooler conversation. And that's here. Forget everywhere else. By tomorrow, it's on to standard operating procedure.
Okay, let's shelf that. Let's get into some CFL. Now, I want to say, when everybody was buying stock in Calgary being this unbelievable wrecking ball coming out of the West, and they beat the Riders twice, granted, kudos to them. But it's like getting a birdie on the second and third hole. It's how you finish. How are you finishing on 16, 17, and 18 with water down either side or trees? You never bought the stock into Calgary. And the Bombers, Bombers are done, and most people thought the Bombers would be done.
Yeah, look, neither team was ever ready for prime time. Both teams had glaring issues throughout the season. Stamps came out hot. Like, the Stamps defense kept them in a lot of games, won them a lot of games, running basically a base defense. Their roster was never good enough. Winnipeg is the epitome of coaching malpractice. You have the best player in the Canadian Football League in your backfield. And in a playoff game in the wind on the road, you hand the ball off to Brady Oliveira 8 times?
It's a great point.
It was something that went on throughout the season. Collaros came out in his exit interview and said it just didn't feel right from training camp onwards.
Mm-hmm.
This was coaching and organizational malpractice by the Bombers. They held on to guys too long. Their coaching was poor. Their offensive play calling was just god-awful. And they were so stubborn about it all. And here's a franchise that had gotten to how many Grey Cups? Well, every single one of those Grey Cups that they lost, they led at the half. And they pissed it away, and now they pissed away this season as well. They're going the wrong way, Barney, Don. They got to the Grey Cup last year. This year they had to be a crossover team in the East. Yep. And they get there with a chance, and they just ignored Brady Oliveira. It's ridiculous.
Okay, we got about 2 minutes left here. I want to get, do you have a hot take? Do you have anything for us to think about? What are you thinking about the West Final, BC and Saski here Saturday?
And we can talk about the Hardy Cup on Thursday because I talked to both head coaches this week. I was talking to the Montreal Carabin head coach, University football here. They play Laval. And I said, you're playing them for a third time this year. How much have you guys been repping and practicing that you haven't shown on tape, that you have in your back pocket? And he said, probably 15% of our playbook. I'm intrigued. How much has Mace, how much has Buck Pierce not put on tape, especially BC offensively with an offensive-minded coach and Nathan Rourke? And how much has Mace, when it comes to pressure situations, pressure packs, blitzes, etc., what are they going to try and throw at Rourke that he hasn't seen? And what's Rourke and Buck Pierce going to try and do to the Riders that they haven't seen yet this year? I think that, to me, is a big part of this game.
The beauty of football.
That's the advantage of having that extra week of getting first place.
Yeah,
sure.
For the Rider coaching staff, because they've been working now for 2 weeks for this game.
That is the beauty part of football.
Totally.
It is not. It's one game, and what cards haven't you shown?
Yep.
And what have you shown that you got a wrinkle off? Now, where they're right. We've seen also, this. Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm. When do you pull out that wild card? When is it in that you've boom, right. now's the time. Now's the spot.
And that can win or lose the Western Final. That one decision.
Can you just run through NFL trades? New York Jets moving to the CFL pretty much. They packed up shop.
They have 7 picks over the next 2 years in the first and second round. Quinnen Williams is out. Sauce Gardner's out. How about this? The Indianapolis Colts are going all in with Daniel Jones. Okay, I guess. Sure.
Danny Dimes.
Hey, Indy, New England. AFC Championship game. You and I might have to go.
Drake May versus Daniel Jones. It's not quite Peyton and Brady, but let's do it.
No. If you squint, it might look like it. Okay, we get to catch up.
How many soda pops you have, then they'll really look like it.
Yeah, we get to catch up Thursday, bud. And we will get into that Hardy Cup for sure.
All right, see you guys.
Right on. Coast
Thanks,
to Coast
Arash.
with Arash Madani. It's brought to you by Brian Gawley and Smart Investing Solutions. You got to be smart with your money. Call Brian at 546-2533, Smart Investing Solutions. All right, break time. We're going to come back with a clutch performer action. Don, you're going to have to pull one out here. I'm staying local on mine. It's a Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
More power, more output, more comfort. The Fendt Ideal Combine is ready to roll on your farm. The most innovative and modern combine on the market, the Fendt Ideal Combine has exceptional efficiency backed by the industry's best warranty. An unbelievably comfortable cab. The Fendt Ideal Combine is ahead of the game and the best in the game. The Fendt Ideal Combine is ready to roll on your farm. See for yourself at Nick's Service in Emerald Park. nicksservice.com.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Meet Todd. It's noon. He's really hungry, and his stomach makes sure to let him know it.
Todd, we talked about this. No more skipping meals. I need cheese. I need crust. I need Western Pizza.
All right. Western Pizza it is.
Western Pizza. Dine in or take out today, before your stomach starts making demands.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
This is Brian Gawley with Smart Investing Solutions. Successful farmers and business owners, please listen to me for the next 30 seconds. When the time comes, how are you going to get your corporate retained earnings and profits out of your operating company in order to fund your retirement without paying too much income tax? If you don't know and you need options, call me, Brian Gawley, at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533, or go to smartinvestingsolutions.ca.
This is where we play. This is where we live. Extreme Hockey and Sport is where we shop when we need the gear for our game in our town. Hockey is in our blood as much as the prairies themselves. Extreme Hockey and Sport understands this. That's why they provide the Saskatchewan Stars of tomorrow only the best. Every level, any budget, expert fit. They're your local sit and fit hockey shop. Extreme Hockey and Sport, 1425 McIntyre Street, Regina's Hockey Shop.
The Sportscage Clutch Performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. Call 781-1077.
All right, Colson, start us off here. Clutch Performer time.
Okay. In the NFL, I got a clutch and an unclutch. Cam Little gets it officially in the record books now. Longest field goal in the NFL, 68 yards.
68.
He had the 70-yarder in the preseason. And then Brandon Aubrey tried a 68-yarder as well, but missed it.
Last night.
Yeah, and that's where the unclutch performance coming from. The Cardinals have played 14 games on Monday Night Football. They have lost 10 of them. The 4 they have won, all against the Dallas Cowboys.
Interesting.
Whoa.
Interesting.
Excellent. That's why they pay Colson the big bucks.
That's right.
That was excellent.
Right.
Good stuff. Okay, my clutch performers. Junior City Volleyball Champion. It was Tom defeating Martin. So your junior girls volleyball champions in Regina, Tom Collegiate. Good job, ladies. On the boys' side, Regina Christian defeated Sheldon. So Regina Christian was over Sheldon Williams. So Regina Christian and Tom, junior volleyball champs in Regina. We're talking high school football the rest of the week. It's going to be a lot of fun as well. Clutch Performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. Call 781-1077. You can visit them in Emerald Park. While we're on that subject, let's go to Sprinkle of the Day for Sports Select. And I don't know what I was thinking, Don, when I have Luke on Friday. I texted Luke last night. I got no comment back. He was disappointed. I went all in on Dallas last night. No, what year was I thinking it was?
Well, I just didn't realize that the backup quarterback for the Cardinals is better than the starter.
Jacoby Brissett played for the Patriots. He's capable. He's serviceable, as they say.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching that game, and I'm like, Dallas has no defense. They are awful. Pitiful. Their first score is on a block punt, and the crowd's going nuts, and it's like, you can't be excited. You guys are getting manhandled here. So I'm going to shift it away, try and rebound. Sportselect.com. Tonight, Edmonton and Dallas. Edmonton Oilers fans, what happened yesterday in St. Louis? Now you got to turn around and play Dallas. Edmonton on the pro line, 240. So they got to win. They got to win in regulation, or you can pick the tie for this to go into overtime at 380. Oilers, what are you figuring there, Don? Oilers bounce back after a horrific loss. They give it up again. Bouchard's being lambasted. But what do you think?
Well, it's interesting what's going on in Edmonton. You talked earlier with Arash about, the Blue Jays have to do it all over again in February and this sort of thing. And the schedules that these professional athletes have to play. And you and I were talking off mic a few minutes ago, and I was throwing the theory at you about Connor McDavid. He's still the best player on the ice. He always will be when he's on there for at least a few more years. But you take a look at what is ahead for Connor, and he's still the keynote Canadian player in the Olympics in Italy, and that's ahead yet for him. And I look at him, and I think he's, if you could call it cruise mode for a Connor McDavid, I don't know if that's possible to call him in a cruise mode, but I don't think he's fully into hockey quite yet because he's got such a long road ahead of him with the Olympics, then later with the Stanley Cup playoffs, and I'm pretty sure the Oilers will make the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I just think if you're going all out right now and you're Connor McDavid, it's impossible. What do you think about this theory, Barney?
I'm more worried about the action tonight.
Yeah,
in the long term,
with your money on the line.
I think it'll be. It's hard for him to go into cruise control. I think there's some things going on with the Oilers, but to try and bounce, I think you got to bounce back after that defeat in St. Louis. But Dallas is no slouch. You know what? I'm going to go wild here and say this game's going to go into overtime. I take the tie at 380. Simply make your picks online. Like I can do right now, sportselect.com. It generates a QR code, and you just take that to your Lotto Spot retailer. Every bet is 100% legal with a chance of winning cash in hand. Sports Select, when you're ready to bet in the original. Obviously, I'd parlay that with a little, maybe a Minnesota as a favorite win. Sportselect.com. Get into your wins. Colson saying we got a break. It's a Sports Cage. That was Sprinkle of the Day, by the way, brought to you by Sports Select. We'll be back. The professor and I chat a little bit more, look into the what's going on at Ryder, who was on the field at Ryder Camp. Your insiders giving you some good info. It is the Sports Cage on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
All the farmland and equipment you could need are available at auction this fall with Ritchie Brothers. A wide variety of farmland auctions across Western Canada will begin in earnest in October and run into December to get you ready for the next season. With new parcels of land and equipment continually added to their inventory, make sure to visit their website so you never miss an opportunity. Head over to rbauction.com to get started. Again, that's rbauction.com.
If your garage door is running a little rough, you don't need to be talked into something that you don't need.
Sir, what you need is the new gigantic-esque, voluminous, astronomical, ginormous, gargantuan, exquisite air garage.
Just call Busy Bee Doors, the local experts who have been in business for many, many doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
Wait. With me, you get a little garage door keychain, please.
Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
This is Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
All right, we talked about it earlier in the program. The professor, your insider, was saying Roland Milligan was on the field participating today, but he had a big brace on. Is that what you heard?
Yeah.
On the knee.
Yes, he had a big brace, which we don't know what that means in the first practice of the week, and I'm sure Dave Thomas will be talking about it tomorrow morning.
Trevon Tate practice for the first time since tearing his bicep. That was really good. And Dante Myers was back on the practice field. That excites you and I think all of Rider Nation.
It does. He's their deep man. I mean, he's the guy that can break a game.
Yep.
Dante Myers, of course, he's right at the top of the league for receptions over 30 yards, as we talked about before and gave the stats. They need him to break one. 11 receptions at over 30 yards. I think he's second or third in the league at that. So they need Dante Myers.
Dave Thomas caught up with Dante Myers today.
Dante Myers, it's great to see you back on the field. What's it like being back?
It feels great.
had some time off, but to put the cleats back on and put the helmet on and jersey, be back out there with the guys, especially with us trying to go 1-0 this week, so it feels good.
Now, thanks to the first place finish, your team and your teammates were afforded an opportunity to recuperate and fully recover as opposed to have to being pressed into action early, if you will, from an injury. What was it like to get that time off?
Honestly, I just think we're fortunate. It's just a byproduct of the work we put in. We wanted to clinch the West. We clinched the West. We had some games to spare, and that's just a product of hard work. And sometimes you get a bone.
Now, we haven't had a chance to talk to you since you were named to the All-CFL team, but what does it mean, being an all-star receiver, 1,000 yards? This year just seems to be amazing.
Honestly, one of my biggest things was just being healthy and helping the team win. I'm not really a big guy that kind of puts personal accolades out there and going into the season. And, so it's a dream come true playing on a winning team, a good program, a good team, a good organization, good teammates, brotherhood, family, all the things you guys, when you talk about a good legendary teams, you just, we have that here, and to be a part of that and to contribute to that, it's just a dream come true.
Dante, if you go back to last year, right, so you get on a roll and then you got injured, and this year you're rolling along, you get beat up and nicked up a little bit too. Do you at all feel cheated by the injury bug?
I don't feel cheated, I feel like all things work together for the good of those that love God according to his purpose, so every step I know is meant, every step is ordered, and you just take them as they come. I don't look at things as bad or good. They're all meant to be. Everything's going to happen to turn out how the way they're meant to be, and we're here. Last year I couldn't see this, but I'm blessed and fortunate to be here.
Dante, this will be the fourth time that your team plays the BC Lions this season, the third time for you individually. If you go all the way back, how has their defense changed and evolved through the course of the year?
Honestly, they've been progressing. They're a great defense. They have great playmakers over there. We have to just look at the film and be ourselves. That's kind of been our recipe for success. But they're trending in the right direction. We're playing them in the West Final. And they're not there by chance. They're not there by luck. They're a great team, and they earned the right to be there. So we're just going to come out here, give them our best fight, and let the chips fall where they may.
Lastly, you get an opportunity to play this football game here at Mosaic Stadium in front of more than 30,000 fans. What does it mean to get home field advantage?
Honestly, it's a luxury to play in front of these fans. Mosaic's going to be packed. Ryderville's going to be packed. And it's the 13th man. We thrive off that energy. That gives us the extra motivation. And we know they're on our side, and they're going to help us give us the extra inch.
Comments on that? You said you want to do
Well, quite often a tight playoff game, as both of you know, Barney and Colson, can boil down to a big play. One big play that's quite defining. BC led the CFL in big plays with 63. Now, a big play constitutes either a run over 20 yards, passes over 30, punt returns over 40. And that's where I think Dante Myers and being back is so critical, because he enables Trevor Harris to have a deep threat and make a big play. And as we all know, the most accurate passer in the CFL is Trevor Harris statistically. He's the most accurate passer. I would expect to see Trevor Harris back for another one-year contract in Saskatchewan next year if I was a betting man. But Trevor's going to hit Dante. He can hit him on the run, on the fly, and it could mean the difference between a Grey Cup appearance and going home.
Okay, we do have 2 tickets to give away to that West Final, which there's over 30,000 tickets distributed or sold already, so leaving about 3,000. The Riders released that a couple of hours ago. Mm-hmm. The co-op zone, the $20 tickets, they're into the hundreds. So there isn't many left for that. Now, we're giving away the tickets today through the Prairie Land Rentals text line at 936-6262. We're asking people, what's your hot take? What do you think could happen this Saturday at Mosaic Stadium? We've had some good ones. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go back to the text line here. And I'll read Joseph saying the keys to victory will be turnovers by both teams. Weather will not play a part. Neither team has played in cold weather games yet this year. A lot of our players haven't experienced a real cold day yet. So he's saying that it's going to be a turnover thing. Frank?
Well, that's a really good comment. Saskatchewan was third in turnovers with 41, BC fifth with 34, Saskatchewan fourth in turnover ratio at +8. So Saskatchewan is +8. BC was 6 at -4 in the turnovers, Barney. That could be a big factor, as the writer indicated.
Frank says if Lawther, Ouellette, and Harris are on, Riders kick the Lions. Sonia saying the game will not be in doubt. We have a lot of recent practice in Western finals. Bobby is saying the Riders' D-line and O-line will be the difference in the win. Benny is saying Riders rush over 100 yards. Riders win. That's from Darcy, actually. That's from Darcy,
comment from Darcy.
Yeah. So, because we talked about... I like the fact that Calgary rushed 100. Mills had 111 yards on that BC defense last
weekend. And you could argue that Calgary could have won that game. How many times, I said this to you earlier, just chatting with you, Barney, how many times in a CFL playoff game has the team that has the best offensive line performance lost? Not many times.
Yeah.
Not many times.
Dion, this is from a while ago. He said, how do the Riders not smash the Lions? Rourke just doesn't impress me, especially against the Riders. Plus, I don't think he plays well in the cold. 34-18 Riders. They will face Montreal in the Grey Cup. Okay, so all of you are entered in to win tickets to the West Final. I know I missed a couple of you. 936-6262. If you want in, let us know your hot take. Remember, in like 20 words or less. Don't be sending a novel. I don't know what's going on in the YouTube chat, Colson. If there's anything, maybe we can revisit that in a bit too, because those people will be entered to win as well. Let's go to a quick break. It's a Sports Cage. We are streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. We're always on the home of the Rider, 620 CKRM.
The road to the 112th Grey Cup rolls through Riderville. Don't miss a moment of this weekend's West Final here on the Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network, 620 CKRM. Saturday, we'll have all the action as your Saskatchewan Roughriders host the BC Lions, where the winner will play for the Grey Cup. We'll break down the matchup with a countdown to kickoff starting at 2:30. Play-by-plays at 5:30. The CFL West Final is brought to you by Prairie Ford Dealers, Claws of America, and Sask Energy. Stream every moment of Rider football at Sportscage.com.
Get ready for the biggest concert sensation of the summer. It's Dolphins Country Fest 2026, featuring Jelly Roll, Tyler Hubbard, Nate Smith, Cameron Whitcomb, and so many more. Tickets on sale now. Dolphins Country Fest 2026. Same weekend vibe, next level entertainment. June 25th to 28th. For full lineup and ticket info, visit countryfest.ca.
Steffes Auctioneers presents the C&E Schmidt & Sons Farm Limited Retirement Online Auction November 5th. Don't miss this opportunity to bid on well-maintained agriculture equipment located near Davidson. Auction includes a four-wheel drive tractor, mechanical front-wheel drive tractors, combine, headers, trucks, trailers, augers, and more. That's the November 5th C&E Schmidt & Sons Farm Limited Retirement Auction. Check it out at steffesgroup.com. That's STEFFES Group.com.
This fall, the eyes of Canadian university football turn to Regina. The University of Regina, City of Regina, and U Sports proudly host the 60th anniversary of the Vanier Cup, Saturday, November 22nd at Mosaic Stadium. It's the first time Regina welcomes this historic championship, showcasing the best in Canadian university football. Tickets start at just $10 for youth and students, $20 for adults, and kids under 5 are free. That's Saturday, November 22nd, Mosaic Stadium. Get your tickets now at vaniercup.com.
Getting in on more of the sports action you want is as easy as playing at sportselect.com. Simply make your picks online, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer. Then sit back, watch the game, grip your chair, and high-five anyone nearby. Every bet is 100% legal with the chance of winning cash in hand. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Must be 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
Country Corner, brought to you by Municipal Hail Insurance. Proudly serving farmers. MunicipalHail.ca.
620 CKRM is proud to support the Hospitals of Regina Foundation Home Lottery. Don't miss your chance to win the incredible $1.7 million grand prize show home. Proceeds support healthcare in Regina's 3 hospitals. Ticket deadline fast approaching November 14th. HRFHomeLottery.com. Take in a great night of Canadian country music with Terry Clark and Paul Brandt at the Connexus Arts Centre, Friday, November 14th. Show gets underway at 7:30. Stop by the box office or connexusartcenter.ca. And Mosaic Stadium is playing host to the Vanier Cup on Saturday, November 22nd. Join U Sports, the University of Regina, and the City of Regina for this historic celebration of Canadian university football. Tickets at uregina.ca/events.
For more information, visit 620ckrm.com. It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport, Regina's locally owned one-stop hockey shop. Now with a price match guarantee. 1425 McIntyre Street.
Riders are back on the practice field today. Roland Milligren is out participating. Keyshawn Johnson not on the field today. We'll have more coming up on that. We will go to the U18 Women's National Championship. Tough one for Saskatchewan. They fall to 0-3 with a 7-0 loss to Ontario Red today. Elsewhere, we got hockey under the orange top tonight. The Regina Pats and Calgary Hitmen. You can hear it right here on CKRM. If you're going to the game, 7 p.m. puck drop. It's I Love Regina night. Tickets under half price for that one. U17 Men's World Championship in Nova Scotia, 5:30 start. Regina's Chase Serkan, Estevan's Boston Tate, Nipawin's Blake Chorney. Canada Reds up against the United States. SJHL, Yorkton's and Flin Flon. Battleford welcomes Nipawin. Canadian Mixed Curling Championships in Assiniboia. Canada was Saskatchewan was 3-0 entering today. They lost to Ontario 7-2 this morning, but then they rebounded against Northern Ontario 7-2. That's the Jason Ackerman rink. National Hockey League, Canadians host Philly. Edmonton's in Dallas. Winnipeg travels to LA. Sportscage.com poll is still, will the Toronto Blue Jays win the World Series next year? You can vote at sportscage.com. Ticker is for Extreme Hockey and Sport, home of the price match guarantee, and now home of Extreme Bucks. Visit them. They're local. They support local. Extreme Hockey and Sport. We got about a minute here. Where do you want to go?
Well, I just want to continue to talk about the BC Saskatchewan game, but that's a good question. Will the Blue Jays, can they get to the World Series next year? It's a difficult thing to do, obviously, because it was 32 years since the last time. But Edward Rogers did say, he was interviewed not that long after Game 7, and he did say he was going to continue spending, which appears to be the most important thing in baseball these days, that he would continue spending and would consider spending more. I mean, how much those gates are for a playoff game at Rogers Centre, some people say $60 million, some people say $70 million. But if Edward Rogers, like Arash said, it boils down to the owner, not the president or GM. But if he's willing to keep spending, then that's good news for Blue Jay fans. Baseball isn't run properly, but that's another story altogether.
I hope we get to talk next Tuesday. I hope you're going to come in and we talk about the Riders on their way to the Grey Cup in Winnipeg. So,
if the Riders are going to the Grey Cup, I'll be here early to talk to you, Barney.
Okay. Thanks for coming in again. All right. How about this to end hour number 2? You want to go to the Pats game tonight that I just talked about against the Calgary Hitmen? It's I Love Regina Day. We have 2 tickets right now. You got to call in 936-6262. That's the same number for PumpJacks Cathedral Trivia in hour 3 if you want to win money to PumpJacks Cathedral. So you want to go to the Pats game. Colson's got 2 tickets in his hand. We'll go to break. We come back. Glen, Suitor, PumpJacks Cathedral Trivia. We're going to hear more from the Riders. It's the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
We are 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station, broadcasting live from downtown Regina.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Corey Atkinson from the sasktoday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM News for Echo Sound in Fort Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with a new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. Prime Minister Mark Carney's first federal budget takes a big swing at making Canada's economy a more attractive place to invest, with billions of dollars for infrastructure and new tax opportunities for businesses. Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne tabled the long-anticipated budget in the House of Commons this afternoon. In prepared remarks, he said that it's time for bold and swift action to build Canada's economy for an uncertain future.
This is not a transformational. This is a generational shift, and we need to meet this moment with generational investment. To weather the storm of uncertainty, we will not lower our sails. That would be un-Canadian. Quite the opposite. We will do what previous generations have done before us. We will raise them to catch the winds of economic change.
The 406-page budget includes almost $90 billion in net new spending items over 5 years. The Regina Police Service is asking residents near the 1000 block of 12th Avenue to check their properties for a firearm linked to a homicide investigation. Police believe the gun may have been discarded after a killing on November 1st. The search area includes Saskatchewan Drive to Victoria Avenue and Montreal Street to Wallace Street. Officers from the major crimes and forensics units remain in the area, urging residents to call police immediately if they find a weapon. The Regina Police Service also says 3 reports of thin metal pieces in Halloween candy are under investigation. Acting Chief Laura Davies says the cases were found in 3 areas: the Greens on Gardner, Fairways West, and Glen Elm. The metal, described as needle-like, was in coffee crisps and an Aero bar.
It appears to be, in 2 of the instances, something that looks like a sewing needle, like something along those lines. And then the 3rd report we received overnight had a little bit of a different description in terms of a brass-colored metal object.
Davies says it may be a factory issue, but urges caution when checking candy. There could be snowfall later this week. Environment Canada meteorologist Danielle Desjardins says they're monitoring systems that could bring mixed precipitation Thursday and Friday. For the one on Friday, she says it could bring more snow compared to Thursday's system.
It looks like that has potential to have a more significant snowfall for the province. Now, can't rule out about 5 to 10 centimeters potentially.
She says to keep an eye on the forecast as weather models are saying different things right now. And children's author Robert Munch is donating his stash of story drafts, publisher notes, and fan letters to the Guelph Public Library. The Southwestern Ontario Library says the collection will offer a rare glimpse into Munch's decades-long career, during which he penned bedtime classics including The Paperback Princess, Love You Forever, and Mortimer. The Munch family says the library has been a large part of their lives, recalling that the author would take his young kids there every week to pick out new books. That is your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Man, remember the good old days? Floppy disks, dial-up internet, and that time Stifler wrecked the prom?
Yeah, well, it's 2025 now. Time to grow up and grab a real laptop from Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
I'll set up SaskTel internet, maybe stream some Max TV, or relive the American Pie trilogy in glorious HD.
Upgrade that sad flip phone while you're at it.
Whoa!
Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
Brought to you by Line X Regina, Serious Protection Killer Lux, 1865 McCarra Street. Matt's Furniture. Visit mattsfurniture.ca.
Clear sky, gentle breeze most of the night, occasionally as high as 15 to 25. Most of the night on the lower end of that, and even easing up a little bit more through the day on Wednesday. We start with that clear sky, setting us up for a sunny morning and early afternoon, then cloud cover begins to mix in for Wednesday later day. We rise from a low tonight of -5 up to around 7 degrees through the afternoon on Wednesday. But then temperatures begin to back down a little bit. Some rain showers set up for Wednesday night. We stay above freezing, so it's rain, even aloft. Still plenty of warm air to hold the rain showers at 2 degrees. But through the day Thursday, we get maybe a degree more, 3, falling back slowly as the day goes on. And as we do get that cooler air, and especially aloft, rain showers change over to flurries, light accumulation possible. 0 is the high on Friday. Cloud cover mixing with sunshine, still a few lingering flurries. Not much in the way of accumulation, though. Most of what we do see, if any, would be Thursday afternoon. Sunshine, cold, -4 Saturday. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather Meteorologist Phil Spivak.
He's at it again. Matt's sharpening his pencil to save you money at Matt's Furniture. Now till November 5th, save big on the quality and power you know and love from Maytag and Whirlpool. Get a Maytag 5.5 cubic foot Pet Pro top load washer with 7 cubic foot top load dryer for just $16.99. Or get the Whirlpool 5.5 cubic foot IEC top-load washer with removable agitator and 7 cubic foot dryer for just $14.99. Matt's Furniture at Fort Capel, Kamsack, Melville, and Foam Lake, or online at mattsfurniture.ca.
For 40 years, the team from Line-X Regina has been protecting vehicles across Saskatchewan, and we're changing with the times. 3 generations of our family have protected your vehicles. Our business has evolved, and we're not stopping now. The next generation is here. Same family, same commitment, ready for the next generation of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards in all kinds of colors. Line-X Regina, 1865 McCarra Street, the next generation of protective coatings.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Well. Hour 3, he stuck around. The professor's like, I'm not going anywhere. You're talking to Glen Suitor. I don't get to talk to Glen Suitor that often.
Well, let me explain it.
Okay. He owes you money.
No, he doesn't owe me any money. But in the last, I'd say 3 times I've been on the show with you, Barney, I've left right when Glen was coming on. And I didn't want Glen to think I didn't like him.
Okay.
And I do like Glen. I've liked him for a long time. He's a very nice fellow.
Okay,
I just wanted to make sure he knew that.
Colson's just getting him set up. While we wait for Glen here, we do have winning coming up. PumpJacks Cathedral Trivia. You've heard the answer to the question today, and you heard it yesterday on the show. Okay, that's what I'm telling you. We're playing for $50 at PumpJacks Cathedral after Glen. Also, giving away the West final tickets. And we do have some hot takes. We're just asking you, 936-6262, Prairieland Rentals text line. We're asking for your hot take, and then you're entered to win the tickets. What do we got here? Brandon, who I think's won already, and he knows that. He's just excited that it's here already, the West Final. Nick in Lumsden. Keys are the trenches, controlling the line. Time of possession will all go hand in hand. All right, Nick?
He's right. And the Riders, by the way, led the league in time of possession.
No name and number here. We need your name and... Oh, no, we do. Okay, JJ. Riders will come out hot, smoke the Lions. Harris will have the game of his career.
He might.
That's a hot take right there.
That
there we go, JJ. And he says, let's get a run for 140. O-line are going to own the Leos. That's too
Game
good.
over if AJ runs for 140. That's
too good hot
That's for
takes.
sure.
That's what I said. Run the ball. Run the rock. Tony's saying Riders got to protect Harris. Make sure they get to Rourke.
Huge key. We'll talk to Glen about that, Barney.
All right. Keep them coming. 936-6262. Colson will award those tickets in about 40 minutes' time. Let's get it going with our man, Glen Suitor.
Time now for press coverage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glen Suitor on the Sports Cage. Brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
So remember when you said, I think Don doesn't like me? Set the record straight
That's
now.
why I'm sticking around.
Don.
I'm staying here for free because I really like Glen Suitor personally and professionally, even though I don't really work with you professionally, but you're so good on TSN.
Well,
I wasn't walking away.
You're aware that we don't pay you at all, right? Like you're here for free all the time?
Oh, that's why I haven't got any checks in the mail. I was wondering maybe it was a postal strike or something.
Well, Don, the feeling is mutual, and we have worked together a ton, going back to playing days. Yeah, even all the features and interviews and stuff like that. So I started to think that maybe I wasn't showering enough, and somehow it was transferring over. And you were saying, okay, that's it. I can't take this guy anymore. I don't know.
I was missing you. But I remember the rare smart thing I ever did in broadcasting was Glen came out to the TV station and did an audition for possibly going into the media while he was playing, and I made the bold prediction, Glen, you would be really good at this. And now all the awards later and all the Grey Cups later, I guess I'm not all that dumb.
Hey, do you want his address? You need to send him like a gift card or something for all this, Glenn.
Yeah, I'm buying next time, Don, for sure. Hey, and doing the job, when you look at the games this past weekend, the 2 playoff games.
Tremendous.
My job, so much easier when a game unfolds the way it does. Once again, the athletes in our league are delivering at this time of year after year after year, and it just seems like I can't think of the last time a playoff game or the Grey Cup was a blowout, one way or another. Like I just can't. They're all close. They're all competitive. I thought, okay, we're going to see a blowout in Montreal, Winnipeg, and then the Bombers, they fight their way back into that one. A couple of turnovers by Montreal didn't help the Alouettes. It didn't help them there, but the Bombers hung in there and then took the lead. And I thought,
that's right.
This is unbelievable. The athletes delivered once again, and I expect them to this weekend because the matchups and the storylines are outstanding.
I'm watching the World Series over the week, and then of course the Blue Jays got recorded while the CFL playoff games are on. Watched it later, but I said to my wife, after watching all the Jays playoff games and then the 2 semifinals in the CFL, I said, it's weird to even say, but I forgot how absolutely entertaining the CFL is almost. Those 2 semifinal games were just tremendous entertainment. You were entertained for every second, Glenn, weren't you? Like, that product on the field is tremendous, and the commissioner is not changing Canadian football as much as people are claiming he is. He's barely changing it at all, in my opinion. It'll be a better game even than it is, but it's good as it is too.
Speaking of that, who hit the goalpost this weekend? Somebody threw it and hit the goalpost.
Caleros, did he not, Glenn? Yep.
Yeah, Zach Collaros. Yeah, Zach Collaros hit the goalpost, and I thought Dwayne Ford's comment right after was somewhere Stuart Johnson is saying, "I told you so."
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah, great line. Hey, and guys, game 7. First of all, we've talked about the Blue Jays last couple of weeks, and you guys know I'm not a big baseball fan, but I'm a fan of sports and fan of the World Series. No matter who's in it, really, it's the drama, it's the tension. That play at the plate in Game 7, like, I don't even remember the guys, but the difference between winning and losing, when he slides, the catcher gets his heel back, and they zoom in. And by the way, replay crucial in baseball. I like the way they do it, because this play at the plate, if you're watching the stream, I thought that in a Game 7, they win the game there.
Right.
And I'm thinking, oh, this is and then the play where the manager for the Dodgers changes the outfielder.
Yeah.
And he makes, because he's taller, aggressive, he goes out and makes this play.
Payas?
Again, another opportunity just stolen right there off a play that I was absolutely riveted. For a guy who does not like baseball, I was riveted to the drama of Game 7. It was tremendous entertainment.
Well, the play at home plate, Dan Schulman, of course, the voice of the Blue Jays on Sportsnet, gets caught saying the Blue Jays are going to win the World Series on a video review.
Yeah. So
whoops.
funny that the crew that I'm running with that night, I see that, and then you see his foot go up.
Yeah.
And then, right? And they start going through, like any sport, they start going through all the angles. And then you go, well, damn. He might be safe. Like, hold on. And then right away I say to the people that I was with, I say, there's no way they are going to let the World Series end like this.
Yeah. Well, I when I compare it to replay, like when I'm watching other sports, I'm looking at how we can improve our sport and how we can improve our presentation, and this in replay. And there were a bunch of different moments in the World Series where replay became crucial. And there's a couple things I like about the way that baseball does it. One is that it's just a challenge system. The manager has to say, "Hey, I want to take another look at that," and it's limited. And if they use them all up, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if it looked to me like if they use them all up, that's it. They can't, in the ninth inning, they can't, or extra innings, So I like the way they used it. Crucial because it's either cut and dry. He either touched the plate first or he didn't. And most of those angles, you're going to find the answer to that question. It's not replay in a subjective penalty, a penalty where two different people in the same room can look at the same play and have different ideas on it completely. So I think that's where we can learn from baseball in the CFL and tweak replay back to coaches have to challenge, and back to really using it more automatically on in or out of bounds, catch or no catch, touchdown or no touchdown, those kind of things.
There were so many plays, and going back to the Yankees and the Seattle series when I really became a fan, and I'm watching all this. It is mind-boggling how good the umps are. Now, there was a few challenges and a couple that got overturned. But the guy running to first base, and then there's that dramatic pause by the ump, and then he waits, and then he points or whatever. And I don't know what percentage the umps are batting on correctness. And I'm like, damn, how did he... Like, these guys are on that play at the plate, like the ump is right there, and he's watching, and he gets the call right. And I'm like, that is... And same thing with NFL, though, and we've talked about this before, Glenn, where maybe someday the CFL will get there, and I don't think we're asking for too much. To my old, situation, we got people living in outer space and eating out there. We can figure this out. Like, the NFL, they radio down. Like, you can see it. Every ref's got a fob in, and there's a close play, and they'll just give it that 10, 15 seconds where they'll huddle. For sure, they're getting it from the booth, guys.
Yeah,
Reverse
I
that.
think so.
Pick up those flags. Pick up those flags. Nothing on that play.
Which helps.
And then they just pick it up, and I'm like, that is it. It's almost the common sense, but you put 2 or 3 people in a room with a bunch of cameras, us right here. Even we'll throw Colson in. We could figure it out. Give us the gig on Saturday.
By the way, Major League Baseball next year, now they allow 2 challenges per 9 innings, but you get an extra challenge per extra inning too. But next year, for the first time in baseball, it'll be interesting. For the first time ever, you can challenge a ball or strike. Well, that'll be interesting next year.
That's interesting because that may slow it down. Now all of a sudden I'm a baseball expert, but
okay. Free agency, Houston Astros free agency this offseason, Glenn. What do you think?
I couldn't even start there, buddy. No, but to your point on replay, there is some real-time discussions happening between the replay center and the CFL and the on-field official. There are times when there's an offside, and the on-field official will wait a split second to see if the guys can take a quick look at the replay to see if it was defense that moved first or offense. So there is a little of that, Barney, but I know exactly what you mean. And here's the other thing in comparing the two, officiating in the NFL compared to Canada. The automatic ones, the rules that you can see blatantly, the guy knows this. They execute the call much faster on average than we do, and that's something I noticed being from the TV angle. Sometimes our officials will walk around for 30, 40 seconds. And I can say this because I've actually timed it. I've watched an NFL game, timed from the time I see the penalty flag font to the next snap. And it's night and day different on average how quickly they get that executed down south. So I think that's something that we can work on. It has nothing to do with good or bad refs in our league. We have great refs in our league. But we need to hurry the process.
Let's go to the West semi last week and a tight one. Obviously, BC prevails. They're rolling into here. What jumps out to you on that game, Glenn?
Well, I thought Calgary's defense deserved better. I really did. I thought that Calgary probably deserved to win that game, and that's again the beauty of sports. When you have to you hang in there sometimes, and you have to make one play in clutch time, and the Lions did that. But you take away the Robert Carter Jr. Kick return touchdown and the fumble deep in their own end from Calgary's fumble that set up a field goal. That's 10 points. The Calgary defense allowed 23 points in that game, and they played well enough to win. They were the best unit of the four, if you keep special teams out of it, on the field in that game. And they really restricted and limited what Nathan Rourke was trying to accomplish. So I thought they deserved better. I thought Calgary probably should have won that game, but that's what we love about pro sports. I mean, make one play when you have to. Keep it close, get down to the fourth quarter, and when that window opens with 23 seconds, some clock management issues with Calgary. Let's not forget those. At end of the first half, end of the game, they could have let a bunch more time come off the clock before they gave the ball back to Nathan. But Rourke needed two throws, one to Barry Hill and one to Justin McInnis, and they're in field goal range. And again, not to harp on this, but our rules and our timing in the final 3 minutes allow for that to happen. 23 seconds, you get the ball back in your own end and run a running play on first down, which shocked me. But okay, They run a running play on first down, throw to Barry Hill for 15, throw to Justin McInnis for 28 or 29, and they're in field goal range to win on a walk-off field goal. I mean, it was great entertainment and a great I thought defensively Calgary, they deserve better. Those guys, they played their hearts out.
Now, when you think about the upcoming Western Final, Glenn, we were just looking at the video of a couple of big runs that Nathan Rourke made, and he's fast. He's a lot faster than maybe some people realize. 7 times he went for 20-plus yard runs in the regular season. You think that's going to be a big key at all in this game coming up Saturday? Because, Trevor Harris doesn't run. He runs the odd time, but Rourke is fast. I mean, he even caught Devon Campbell at the end of that one fumble recovery, although I think Devon Campbell sort of slowed up at one point, but then he got going again, and Rourke still got him at the goal line. Is that going to be a big key in this game, that they've got to keep Nathan Rourke in the pocket?
It's a great point, Don. And this play here, by the way, that you're seeing on the stream, that's the Devon Campbell run, and Nathan getting up off the ground. We went back and looked at that again, and we're ready to roll it in the final if it was appropriate. His teammates absolutely love this. I mean, on both sides of the ball, on special teams, the locker room saw that. They saw the effort. Nathan had got knocked down in the pocket after that ball. He threw it. He got up off the ground and caught him. And he still scored, and it didn't count and all that. But this effort is huge for his teammates. So having said that, to your question, Don, It absolutely is, and it is a key whether Nathan Rourke runs or not. In other words, the threat of him running. You remember the 70-yarder against Edmonton when Tyrell Ford couldn't catch him? He was running ball in hand, 70 yards, and Tyrell Ford, who ran I think a 4.29 or a 4.3 at the combine, didn't catch him.
Right.
Without the ball in his hand. So the game plan for Corey Mace now has got to include how they're going to deal with Nathan Rourke running. And that could be twofold. It could be careful containment and rush lane integrity by the D-line.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just going to go 4, you better be in your lane, because if you open one up, he's going to take it. Or you could spy with a linebacker or a D-lineman, and now you're taking really one guy out of the pass rush possibly, or the drop area. So you spy whether or not he runs either way. Calgary has done that in the regular season against them. So Nathan Rourke might not run at all in this game, but it's a factor because Saskatchewan has to prepare for it. They have to be ready to try to keep him in the pocket, try to collapse the pocket rather than, do the one-on-one, get crazy kind of pass rushing. Got to collapse it together, lane integrity, and don't let him escape. And if he does, boy, you got to rally to him, because you're right. He can run. He's much faster. I don't even know if he's run a 40 recently, but he can fly. He's as fast as any receiver out there.
Get him to do one on Friday before you're doing your interview with him. Get him to run the hallway somewhere. Yeah.
Well, it's a Zoom call, so I don't know if
even work. Better. We had Eric Francis. We had Eric Francis from Sportsnet doing calisthenics on his hit last week. So you're lucky we don't ask you to do those on this, Glenn.
He might surprise you, old Glenn.
Glenn's
smart. He's a strong dude.
He's a fit.
And
he used to instruct snorkeling in the Cayman Islands in the off season. Yeah, that was his job.
Yeah, scuba diving. Yeah.
T4 to prove it.
By the way, don't forget, Glen Suitor never got injured over CFL career. He was built like a fire hydrant.
Well, Don, I was injured a few times, but I never missed a game.
Yeah, that's true.
There were a few times, like right now in the 4 playoff teams, there are injuries that we don't know about. Oh, by the way, the Riders, I just looked at their injury list. I know you guys have talked about this already, but Dante Myers, Sam Emelis available, Philippe Gagnon. I mean, I don't know if you insert him when he's missed as much time, but
Trevon
Tate, Marcus Sales, your guy, Tommy Stevens is healthy and full at practice today. CJ Rivas, Robustelli, Mike Rose, all those guys available to coach. So, that is really good news. You're watching the stream. There you go. I mean, you just look at Sam Emelis and Dante Myers by themselves. I think you guys mentioned earlier in the show the deep threat that both of those guys can bring. And if you got a guy that can blow the top off a defense like Myers can, like Emelis can, the threat of them doing that can change everything in a positive way for your offense, because it keeps the high players deep. They are not allowed to cheat, because if they cheat, Trevor will throw it over their head. So that kind of speed in your lineup, crucial. Mike Rose, massive. And then because I know we'll talk more about it Thursday, but I'll bring up the discussion on Brett Lowther, who is healthy in practice today and went full. And Michael Hughes, who that ball was snapping off his foot in that one game he played. So has that been a discussion in Saskatchewan, or is that to bed and it's Brett?
We discussed it earlier in the show. Barney thinks Lowther will be kicking for sure. Oh, by the way, apparently at the end of practice, Coach Mace mentioned Keyshawn Johnson is still a possibility to play, which would be
Keyshawn
huge.
Don, but Keyshawn was still not practicing today, according to the report, and Roland Milligan, Shane Ray, those are the 3 guys that weren't of note. But yeah, if Keyshawn's available, then there's decisions to be made there. by a coach.
Huge.
Good ones. Yeah.
I don't want to go too far because we have Thursday to talk, but I want to get your take on the East. And for a while there, I was watching it in and out, watching a hockey game, doing some yard work, figuring it out. And then all of a sudden, I think it was Luke Mullender who was like, he woke up from a nap and Winnipeg was leading. And that's true, though. That's what it was like. It was like, whoa, here we go. All right, everyone wrote off Winnipeg. They're back. That East game was wild at times, Glenn, as well.
Well, absolutely. And, I mean, a team that has been to the championship 5 times in a row is not going to lay down. And I didn't expect them to lay down. I thought it would be a bigger second half. And this is the effect that turnovers have, especially in a playoff game. There's been many players when I'm covering these games that have come up and asked, especially young players that haven't been in a playoff game before and asked, what advice would you give me? And I always say, what happens in the playoffs, it just feels like the game goes by so quickly. You just when you get that opportunity, you have to capitalize because it goes by so quickly. And 2 turnovers in a row by Montreal and Winnipeg was right back in it. So that was just sort of, we're way ahead, little bit of lapse of concentration, not securing the football. And there's another one on the feed right there. And you give the ball back to Zach, and he's going to put the ball in the end zone. So, I mean, this is a good Montreal team. Don't get me wrong, but the playoffs are a different beast. It's the same timing as the regular season on the time clock, but boy, it doesn't feel like that when you're out there. Everything is so intense, high speed, physical contact, getting after it. And if you miss one tackle, that might be the tackle. If you have one bad penalty, that could be the play that is the one that crushes you. If you go back to full circle here, guys, Game 7, a heel, a fraction of an inch on home plate is the difference between winning a World Series and not. That's how close these things are, and you have to think that way. I heard you guys earlier talk. I thought it was a great discussion on does it feel different with Corey Mace in the locker room going into a West Final than it does for a regular season game, and it absolutely should. And it doesn't mean you change your routine, but you need to know the sense of urgency that's going to happen the moment you kick that ball out.
Yeah.
Okay. We get to tee it up on Thursday. Thanks for sticking around.
Thanks. I can leave now because Glen's leaving, so I can leave.
You guys all good? No one knows anything? You guys, no one smells or whatever you guys are talking about? You guys are all good?
Yes, I hope so.
After that intro, I'm buying dinner, Don. You just tell me where, and I'll pick up the tab.
I'll see you at McDonald's at noon.
Costco hot dog.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good meal.
That is.
I just saved you money.
Underrated.
The soup is the meal, Barney. The soup is the meal.
All right, Banya. I gave you a sport coat or a suit, whatever it was. Yeah, that's so good. All right, talk to you Thursday, Glenn.
Thanks,
okay, thanks, guys.
See you later. Press coverage of the Glen Suitor is for Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. You can call them at 781-2090. Thanks to Bronco Plumbing and Heating. All right. Thanks for sticking around.
Thanks
for sticking around. Somebody messaged on the Roscoe saying you have to buy Dawn a Western Pizza gift card.
Oh, I totally. Around. Who said that?
Roscoe.
Oh,
Roscoe's a big fan.
100% correct.
Yeah, Roscoe's big. He's really good at spending other people's money too. Apparently, yeah. He's married. It's the Sports Cage. We are streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com.
The road to the 112th Grey Cup rolls through Riderville. Don't miss a moment of this weekend's West Final here on the Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network, 620 CKRM. Saturday, we'll have all the action as your Saskatchewan Roughriders host the BC Lions, where the winner will play for the Grey Cup. We'll break down the matchup with a countdown to kickoff starting at 2:30. Play-by-plays at 5:30. The CFL West Final is brought to you by UFA, Sask Lotteries, and Croft Electric. Stream every moment of Rider football at sportscage.com.
back to our regular spot, PumpJacks Cathedral.
You know, I thought PumpJacks was a kind of boot polish till last month.
What are you getting?
Kerwin's crispy ribs and a cold pint of local craft. Crispy, meaty, beautiful.
You had me at meaty.
Plus, we got live music on the weekends, big screens. This place is basically my second marriage.
And way cheaper than the first.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, PumpJacks Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
Thank you, Rider Nation. The Riders Foundation 50-50 jackpots have been massive this season, and it's all thanks to you. When you buy your 50-50, you're supporting amateur football across the province. It's playoff time, and like the games, the 50-50 gets bigger in the playoffs. Can we get it to $1 million, Rider Nation? Maybe higher. Don't get hit with regret. Buy your 50-50 tickets at riders5050.ca and go Riders.
Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC. Lottery license LR 250011.
Hey, you down there. Yeah, it's me, the sun. Been up here doing my thing for, 4.6 billion years or so, and you're still paying full price for power? Come on. Get a Keln Solar residential system. Use me to power your AC, your fridge, your whatever that thing is in your garage. Help me help you. What movie's that from? Anyway, when you've got extra power, Sask Power gives you credits. Jerry Maguire, that's what that line's from.
Get a quote at kelnsolar.com.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
Western Hockey League tonight in Regina. I Love Regina night. It's half-price tickets, Calgary and Regina, 7 p.m. You can hear that game right here on 620 CKRM, starting with the pregame show at 6:30. U18 Women's National Championship. Not a great day for Saskatchewan. They were 0-2 going in. They lost 7-0 to Ontario Red. U17 Men's World Championship in Nova Scotia. Regina's Chase Serkan and his Canada Red team up against the USA tonight. Estevan's Boston Tate also on that club. SJHL tonight. Flin Flon welcomes Yorkton. Nipawin travels to the Battlefords. Canadian Mixed Curling Championships in Assiniboia. Jason Ackerman's team 3-0 entering today. They lost their first game of the day to Ontario 7-2. Bounced back against Northern Ontario 7-2. Canadian teams in action in the NHL. Canadians, Phillies, Philadelphia. Edmonton is in Dallas, and Winnipeg travels to Los Angeles. It is for Steelcraft Doors Regina. Made in Western Canada for Western Canada. You need a garage door. They got a 40,000 square foot warehouse and can hook you up. All right, PumpJacks Cathedral trivia is coming up. We're playing for $50. You're going to have to call in 936-6262 for the question. Start calling now. Colson is manning the phone lines. While we do that, he was back on the practice field today. Dave Thomas caught up with him. Trevon Tate.
Trevion Tate recovering from the injury that caused you to undergo surgery to help with the bicep. What does it mean being back?
If I get a chance to start doing a game after taking a limited amount of reps, it means the coaches trust me, my teammates trust me, and that's always a great ordeal, a great just like feeling to know that the guys around you from the higher ups, including the teammates, just trust and know that if you're out there, you're going to make the play when your name's called.
So when you were initially nicked up, did you have a time frame or a date in mind that you wanted to be back for?
Yeah, I wanted obviously to be back for some regular season games, but sometimes my vision isn't the best vision. Sometimes some people can see things I can't, so I felt like just wait until now, or even if I get the chance, it's perfect timing, and no timing is better than perfect timing.
So would it be fair to assess that having a chance to play just a game again this season was a goal?
It was, but also I'm practicing. Like you come out, you get to practice against essentially the best defense, in my opinion. So I'm coming out and I'm going against Micah Johnson and going against Malik Cornies and the Mike Roses and the Therm. So it's almost like a game day every practice.
So if you do get the call on Saturday, what would it mean to you to be back in the lineup?
It'd just be a huge accomplishment, man, but it would just once again be a testament to the teammates and the coaches trusting me. Obviously, I put in the hard work, but it's just not my hard work that gets everything done. It takes a village and a whole group of people to make sure one person can get back to where they feel like they should be.
So what do you need to do? What check marks do you have to go ahead and put on those boxes to be prepared to play?
Just reps, just being out there with the guys, getting the chemistry back. even when I was hurt, I'm watching film with the guys. We still talk and so I understand how they think. They understand how I think. So that's just the main thing. If I know what the guy next to me is thinking, I can play way faster because I know where he'll be at.
Now, prior to your injury, Travion, Luke Mullender said that you're having an NFL caliber season. Did you feel that way?
No, I felt like I was just competing with the guys in my room. I felt like all 5 guys who was out there could have potentially won the most outstanding lineman on our team and in the league. I just felt like every day, I got to compete with the guys in the room because we all want to be the best. So that right there, when you got 5 guys who can be the best, who want to be the best going at it, somebody is going to win. And essentially that's what happened.
And if you do get a chance to get back into the lineup, you've got your work cut out for you against Matthew Betts and, of course, that BC Lions defensive line. What are you anticipating from them?
I'm anticipating a very physical, good game. Matthew Betts isn't no slouch. Their D-line isn't no slouch. They got great pass rushers over there. They coach hard. They play hard. So I'm expecting a lights-out game because at the end of the day, we are coached the same way.
All right. That was Dave Thomas with Trevon Tate back on the practice field today. Nice to see nonetheless. We're also going to hear from Tommy Stevens and Dave coming up in a bit. We've all talked about how key Tommy is in the lineup, and it looks like he's going to be ready to go on Saturday. PumpJacks Cathedral trivia. We've been playing this today. We've reset it. We're back to $50. We are going to go out on the line. Here's Colson, get everybody set up. PumpJacks Cathedral, 13th and Albert. Wing Wednesday coming up tomorrow there. They got a number of different draft beer options if you're into that. The Kerwin's Crispy Ribs are top-notch. The soup, don't sleep on the soup there as well. What's the fella's name? Oh, we're going to play the intro. Okay, here we go.
It's time for Sportscage Trivia for PumpJacks. Great food, cold local draft, and a place that feels like home.
All right, here we got Scott in Saskatoon. Is that correct?
That is correct, Bernie.
All right. Thanks for playing here, Scott. All right, we've been talking about this the last 2 days. So the question is, the British Columbia Lions have lost how many outdoor playoff games in a row?
Lucky number 7.
Oh, Scotty boy. It's 10. It's 10. That's all right. We're hoping for 11 on Saturday. You still win a lunch from PumpJacks Cathedral.
Awesome.
So next time you're in town, stay online here. Colson's going to take your information. It was 10. Hard to believe that the BC Lions have lost 10 straight outdoor playoff games. 11th coming up Saturday here at Mosaic Stadium. We're playing for $100. That means coming up next Tuesday, PumpJacks Cathedral again. Albert and 13th. Wing Wednesday tomorrow. Live entertainment on the weekends. Kids are allowed until 8 o'clock. PumpJacks Cathedral. Take a break. It is a Sports Cage. We are streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com.
All the farmland and equipment you could need are available at auction this fall with Ritchie Brothers. A wide variety of farmland auctions across Western Canada will begin in earnest in October and run into December to get you ready for the next season. With new parcels of land and equipment continually added to their inventory, make sure to visit their website so you never miss an opportunity. Head over to rbauction.com to get started. Again, that's rbauction.com.
This fall, the eyes of Canadian university football turn to Regina. The University of Regina, City of Regina, and U Sports proudly host the 60th anniversary of the Vanier Cup, Saturday, November 22nd at Mosaic Stadium. It's the first time Regina welcomes this historic championship, showcasing the best in Canadian university football. Tickets start at just $10 for youth and students, $20 for adults, and kids under 5 are free. That's Saturday, November 22nd, Mosaic Stadium. Get your tickets now at vaniercup.com.
Sweater weather is here, and winter's not far behind. The last thing you want is your furnace quitting on the coldest night of the year. That's where Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling comes in. Their trained technicians will make sure your furnace is ready to keep you warm all winter long. Fast, reliable, and professional service, so you can enjoy winter without surprises. Book your service or explore their protection plans today at 781-2090 or visit broncoplumbing.com. Bronco, they'll treat you right.
Ugh, what do I want for supper? There's a bag of baby carrots, a slice of cheese that looks haunted.
Step away from the sad cheese, Dave.
What, the fridge? Since when do you talk?
Since you've been standing here for 10 minutes whispering pizza or cereal like it's a hostage negotiation. I'll make this simple. Order Western Pizza. You are welcome.
Get it hot, get it fast, Western Pizza.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262 for Prairie Land Rentals. Renting heaters, skid steers, and most power tools for all those winter jobs. And your official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. Prairie Land Rentals, 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. Saskatchewan, it's time to talk sports. Sportscage is on the air. Be part of the show. Call 936-6262 or toll free 1-866-767-0620. And we're always online at sportscage.com. 620 CKRM.
All right, welcome back. Back out to the Prairie Land Rentals text line, because we're asking you, the listener, to send us in your hot take for the game on Saturday. What do you think it is? Get a chance to win 2 tickets to that game. All the entries are going into the Wheel of Winning, and Colson's going to pick somewhere. Alan in Regina says Nathan Rourke will be running for his life Saturday, Riders by 10 p.m. I think he means 10 points. Or 10 p.m. We'll take it. Antoine from Regina, hot take. Saturday will showcase the most dominant version of the Riders that we've seen all year. They've been waiting weeks, if not months, for this. All right, good hot take. You're in to win the tickets. Kev, this is you think this is the best one of the day, Colson? Okay. Hot take. Tommy Stevens fake a run on short yardage and gets his first TD pass of the year. That is good, Kev. You're in to win the tickets. Riders will be dominant running the ball. Few of those. Riders defense all over Rourke. That's Phil. So yeah, 936-6262. Still a few minutes to get in to win.
What I hope with Kev's hot take there is it's not on the goal line. I hope it's
a long ball.
Yeah, I hope it's like the 40-yard line somewhere. And, you know, they usually line up a couple receivers out on the wide edge. And with Donnie Myers back, he just runs a little flag or something, a little post pattern.
You might draw the attention if you're leaving Myers out there.
Well, that's the point. You get a couple DBs, get a couple guys out. That's usually how they line it up, is they usually have a couple receivers out there just so people have to be honest, you know?
Okay, so I don't mind it. I like it. I think it's a sexy hot take.
Might be fun.
Good one, Kev. 936-6262. Prairie Land Rentals text line if you have one. Prairie Land Rentals, 600 Albert Street. You get to deal with the owner. All of our guests have been joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. If you're sitting, I know a lot. Yesterday I caught a guy listening while he's waiting for his kid outside the hockey rink. That's what I do as well. And I know right now, if you don't have supper plans, it's about 10 to 6, and you're just like thinking of that juicy Western pizza, all that cheese, the toppings. Do it. Pick up specials. Dine in. Do whatever you got to do. Western Pizza tonight. They announced the Grey Cup game was sold out today. I'm sorry. I was surprised it wasn't sold out. But now I'm seeing already Manitoba people unloading their tickets. Rightly so. That's okay. I was trying to think, what would have tipped the numbers over today for it to be a sellout? Because it's Montreal and Hamilton. Those teams travel well as well, especially the Hammer, right? People are going to travel from there. Soy Latte, Bike Lane, Man Bun guy from BC. I don't know. Rider fans, though, I think when they win on Saturday, and I'm not saying that as a homer, I just truly believe they're going to win. I'm betting literal dollars, loon doggy dogs, that the Riders are going to win this game. Then we're going to see an influx of tickets from the 306 and people wanting to go to Winnipeg. Stevie's saying, my hot take is a punishing physical game that sees the Riders win 36-12. Turnovers and penalties will kill the Lions. What are you guys thinking of Pugh and Schultz so far this year? That is from the 315. They're
New
fantastic.
York.
They are out in the Maritimes right now tearing up the U17s, although they lost yesterday.
In Arash Madani's stomping grounds.
Chechnya, yeah, Truro. But we got the whole year to talk about Schultz and Pugh and the Pats and everything hockey. You want some hockey? Tomorrow we got Ken Reed from Sportsnet, who's pushing his new book. Lots of fun always talking to Ken Reed. And then we have Eric Francis tomorrow as well. A little bit of a breather. Lots of football sandwiched around that. Also on Thursday, when Sharky's here, we have 2 Riders coming in the last hour again. You know who's coming in for about 20 minutes? I forgot about this. Comedian Kelly Taylor, buddy of mine. He's going to come in. He's going to sit down in the studio. So if he makes it here, I don't know what kind of truck he's running these days. He's going to come in, chat sports. He was in...
So we're going to laugh more than normal on Thursday is what I'm hearing.
Oh, yeah. No, Kelly's an absolute beauty. So we'll get into that. It's like I said, it's a jam-packed week of shows. High school football coach from Miller we're going to have on. High school football coach from Johnson. Friday Night Lights tomorrow. Mason Nias, coach of the University of Saskatchewan Huskies. Tom Sargent tomorrow. You know who's back co-hosting tomorrow? Chris Harris.
Harry.
My old Global Sports co-host, he's going to be with. He's looking forward to it. So we're going to talk to Sean Campbell, play-by-play voice of the Alouettes and Montreal Canadiens tomorrow as well. It's a jam-packed week. Tegan had things buttoned up yesterday. I got to go back and listen to more of that Darian Duran interview, see what kind of pointers he points at, because I was coaching yesterday. So, okay, last one here for me to read. AJ Ouellette will rush for 150 yards. Dave from PA. Dave's going 150. I think it's going to be a big day for AJ as well. Dave, you're in to win tickets to the game as well. Speaking of Tommy Stevens, we'll end this part of the show with Dave Thomas catching up with our quarterback.
Well, the biggest question that I've had in Riderville the last 3 weeks has been, how's Tommy Stevens? Well, Tommy Stevens, how are you?
Feel good. It's been a good month or so since playing the game, so had some time to work on the body, and kind of like I've told the guys, feel better than I did before I got hurt. So things are good.
Coach often said we want to make sure guys are trending the right way to be available November the 8th. What was that journey like for you to be patient, but also to be persistent?
It was tough. I guess I'd be selfish here and just talk about myself, but for me and mine, I didn't ever really feel hurt. I was a little surprised. I felt. I don't want to give away too much, but I felt healthy enough to play, I guess, is kind of, and so, got some scans and it kind of showed something else. And so, but yeah, we're healthy now. And, it was good to, I guess, do that and take the month when, it was a good time for it to happen if it was going to happen, right? And so I've been relatively healthy. I hadn't missed a practice really until, today or this year in my CFL career. So it was tough. It was tough being away from the guys, being kind of isolated and just working inside. But it was a good, I guess, learning experience, and was able to work on some things. Work some muscles that I hadn't really worked in a while. So the training staff did a really good job with me, and it's a credit to them. They're able to get me healthy. So things are good.
Okay, well, tell me a little bit then, when you've had an opportunity to watch and see what this team has done down this stretch. Obviously the results haven't been there, but has the process?
I think so. Given what we've been able to do throughout the season, and we kind of set ourselves up for an opportunity for some maybe younger guys or inexperienced guys to get opportunities that they may not have if we weren't in that position. So anytime guys can get reps, especially game reps, I feel like that's going to be beneficial come November. So I think we've done a good job. The process has been the same. I've been in the meetings with the guys, and we've as quarterbacks have approached it the exact same way. So regardless of who was playing, so the process didn't change. Maybe the faces numbers changed a little bit of who was in there, but really the expectation didn't change either. So guys are I think Mason and Mueller both said it themselves. Guys are here for a reason, and we believe in whoever's in there. So ultimately, it was good, and it seems like we're trending in the right direction as far as health goes, and going to be as close to full strength as we've been all year. So
playoffs aren't a normal week, but how hard do you work to make sure that this seems like a normal week?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the overall, the way that it is looked at is different. But at the end of the day, we don't really need to do anything different than what we've been doing all year. We've been treating every game as a 1-0 mindset, and doing whatever we can that week to win the game. So ultimately, nothing changes. We have to continue to do what's got us here, right? And so obviously, a West Final for guys, I guess like myself that have never been a part of a West Final, it's going to be a little bit different, and maybe the expectations are a little bit higher. But ultimately, we got to do what got us here, and I think that we've had a good start, got a head start last week, and we've continued that up until today. So got to keep working. We have a couple more days to continue to prepare and get ready to go.
I know the cliche pressure is a privilege, but your job is pretty pressure-packed, especially in as meaningful a game as the West Final when you have to come in and operate short yardage. Do you think about that mentally or try to put that out of your mind mentally?
I don't spend too much time thinking about it. I think every moment that I'm on the field is, I guess, a pressure-filled situation, and I guess my expectation isn't going to change at all. We got to do whatever it takes to get the yard, get the 2 yards, even 3 yards, whatever it is. We're going to do whatever it takes to get that yard. So, nothing's going to change, I guess, in my perspective. And like you said, it is a privilege, and I think that given my role, I'm thankful to have that role, and got to continue to do, I guess, what has gotten me to this point. So just excited for our opportunity as not just an offense as a unit, but as a team. I mean, this is what we've been talking about since the year started. So we're excited. We're ready to go.
Last one for you. 30,000 tickets have been sold for this game, and we've had the conversation before. When you jog out onto the field, I don't know if you know it, but the fans get up on their feet and they're cheering you and the short yardage team on. They love it. What's this place going to be like on Saturday night?
I hope it's a madhouse. And from what I've seen from Rider Nation this year, it's been awesome to be a part of. It's been awesome to be a part of, and I've said it before. I'm very thankful to be here. I don't want to be anywhere else in this league. For as long as I'm still playing, this is a great place, and I'm glad that I guess I've been welcomed here with open arms, and it's been fun. It's been a really good time, and love the group, love our guys, and it's been the most fun that I've had since college. It's really been an awesome experience, and we want to make sure that we end it the right way.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
You've worked hard for years, but when you retire, do you know your options that truly fit you and your family? That's where Chad Reach, Senior Wealth Advisor, and the team at GP Financial Services and Aviso Wealth come in. They help you understand your choices, avoid costly mistakes, and build a retirement plan.